You ready?
Play ball.
Hello and welcome on the Gaithersburg Giants broadcast network to Criswell Automotive Field. It's the surging Giants taking on the league-leading Bethesda Big Train here in Gaithersburg. I'm David Lewis, alongside me, Jake Tseronis. And Jake, these two teams matched up 3 nights ago in Bethesda, and that was a game that was a little close scoring.
Yeah, it was a great one. A pitcher's duel at Shirley Povich Field where the Giants were able to come out on top with another run scored on the 9th, allowing them to win 2-1. Giants also took a win last night against the DC Graves at Woodbridge High School, so their win streak extended to 7. And these are the only 2 teams in the league that are 8-2 in the last 10. So you could say 2 of the hottest teams coming to face off here at Criswell Automated Field.
And I think an interesting trend, too, from the last 2 wins specifically is the winning run last night when we were in Woodbridge. 7-4 win over the DC Grays, much needed over the Grays. Standings as we look at it, Gaithersburg leading the league in games played with 33, coming into this one 12-21, 12 games back of the Bethesda Big Train, who are playing in their 32nd game as we get underway. They're 23-8, excuse me. But Gaithersburg right dead equal with wins with the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts for that final playoff spot. And we will get underway. Alex Peltier, the center fielder today for the Big Train, pretty much has been the center fielder all season. He takes ball one from Alex Angelidis. Angelidis, a sophomore in the portal, has been a reoccurring face to start on the mound for Gaithersburg. 1-0, misses all the way up to our camera, losing his grip on that one, and probably gave you guys a scare at home as that one comes into your living room.
Yeah, that one, that's the first time I've seen wild pitches, not one that high on the backstop. It happens.
Maybe losing his grip in this humidity. 2-0. First strike thrown from Angelidis on the third pitch to Alex Peltier. And I think one of the keys for Gaithersburg in that 2-1 victory was certainly keeping Peltier off the base paths, who finished 0 for 4 on Tuesday's game. He hits this one foul down the third base line, and the count evens at 2-2.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about how Peltier went 0 for 4 last time against the Giants. Alexander Angelidis, also the pitcher to start off that game. He didn't end with the best statistics. Ended that game with 4 1/3 innings pitched, 3 walks, and a strikeout. He also gave up 6 runs.
2-2, misses just outside on Peltier. Zach White behind the dish yet again for Gaithersburg, trying to frame that one up as some slight raindrops come down here in Gaithersburg. Shouldn't be too much. Full count pitch. This one hit into center field, and that's going to drop for the first base hit of the game. Alex Peltier on the base paths will stand on first base, and we'll see how long he stays there with 19 steals, leads this Bethesda offense.
Yeah, I didn't get a finish with that Peltier hit, but Angelidis, I was mentioning how his stats didn't really show. He had a strong performance against the Big Train up until the end of his outing when a lot of those runs were scored. He dominated the Big Train defensively up through 3 innings, and that fourth one was kind of a blow-up.
Pickoff move at first, not in time, no tag applied by Bryce Rudisil back at first base tonight. And now Brennan Wright is up. First pitch to Wright is called strike one. Wright, the rising junior at the University of South Alabama. There are 3 guys in another pickoff attempt. That one a little closer, but still not in time. I was going to say there are 3 Big Train that play their spring ball and go to school in Alabama, but the one not playing in Tuscaloosa is Brennan Wright. 3 pickoff moves, and now the 0-1. Peltier takes off, the throw down, the tag, he's out! A caught stealing from Zach White. Really nice pop time, gets the first out of the game.
We saw Zach White throw out Ryan Soong last night, another great base runner. He has 31 steals. He had 31 steals entering the game last night. He get the leading base stealer on the Big Train. Just his pop time, his throws are always money. He has a bounce.
This one over to Marino, who fields it and throws to first base for out number 2. So quick bounce back for Angelidis after giving up that single, as his catcher make a play for him, and then his second baseman, Aiden Marino, gets out number 2 on Brennan Wright.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, I've never seen Zach White overthrow second base. He always makes sure to keep that throw low and quick.
He has a great pop time, as that brings up Josh Skoronsky, the super slugger, as it were, batting in the 3 spot for Bethesda with a slugging at .570, has 4 home runs, leads the league in that statistic. He watched ball 1 out. Inside now 2-0. Skoronsky had a shortened game that we saw on Tuesday where he finished 1 for 1, but then took a hit by pitch pretty much straight in the back and had to exit from that contest. 2-0. He hits this one high into the air. Danny Orr ranging under it in the rain, and he makes the grab just before the warning track. And Angelidis, after giving up that single, nice bounce back to get through 1.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Danny Orr. Skoronsky got really under that ball. Still went very far, so that was some power that his stats show. We didn't see in their last outing. shows it there. Unfortunately, Danny Orr was under that one. So 0-0 for the Big Train and Giants so far.
Well, the rain's starting to intensify a little bit. This is not going to flood the field like the fire engine did in Silver Spring yesterday, but we will stay underway and head to the bottom of the first inning when we come back on the Giants Broadcast Network.
There you go.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Connor Lehman. I mentioned a couple of these Big Train playing in the state of Alabama for their schools. He's from Tuscaloosa. The rising sophomore faces the future Terrapin, Nate Houghton Henley. First pitch to Henley is in the dirt. Henley has had an impressive last week and a half for this Giants squad as he watches strike one. So many things you could nitpick, but the end-all be-all title, he was named Cal Ripken Collegiate League Hitter of the Week last week. Watches that one outside at 92, now 2-1. Two-one pitch from Lehman. Skips in to the glove of Murphy. Dylan Murphy behind the plate. Now 3-1 the count to Nate Houghton Henley, who has 13 hits in his last 6 games. 3-1. That one misses low, and now it's a leadoff walk for Nate Houghton Henley. And honestly, I'm really not surprised because that's another thing that I was going to mention is Henley has just been a lot more patient lately.
Yeah, that was a very characteristic at-bat for both Henley and Liam on the mound. Liam, he has 22 walks this season and only 12 strikeouts. And Nate Houghton Henley's OBP coming in today was .494. He's almost getting on base every other at-bat.
Really nice to see from him. First pitch to Powell misses low. Brady Powell came through with a 2 RBI double in the top of the ninth that ended up scoring the winning run last night in Woodbridge. As he watches ball one, and then he'll watch strike one, the off speed, gets into the upper middle part of the zone.
Brady Powell also drove in the winning run against the Big Train a couple nights ago.
Has certainly found the clutch, but can he set the tone early here? 1-1 from Lehman. Misses outside. Couldn't come back across the plate at 76. And wisely, Powell lays off of it. 2-1. Nate Houghton Henley with 12 steals stands on first. Doesn't go there. Pitch comes in low. Another fastball miss from Lehman. Not really, the velocity's there in the low 90s, but certainly the placement not so much. 3-1 the count now. Pickoff attempt at first. Goes right into the glove of Emilio Gonzalez. Really curious if the Big Train have had a different first baseman at all this season. It seems like it's always been Gonzalez there. 3-1. Fouling this one off is Powell onto the soccer field. Ooh, got really close to someone who did not know that ball was landing near them, but everyone is okay. They're just a little surprised that that baseball landed near them. Full count to Brady Powell. Pops this one up, tailing out of play, and it does, and it won't make its way to the soccer field to possibly harm anyone, but full count remains for Brady Powell. Full count from Lehman. Misses upstairs, and it's back-to-back walks to start the bottom of the first for Danny Orr.
Yeah, Connor Lamb on that 3-1 pitch that Powell fouled out. That one was high in the zone, and the second foul ball, thought Powell was going to let Lamb get back into that at-bat. However, Powell comes out on top. The Giants have their 2 batters on base.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see we talked about it last night, Jake, getting that leadoff guy aboard and then following it up with another nice at-bat was Powell. Swing and a miss from Danny Orr. There's the fastest pitch we've seen from Connor Lamon at 94. Would have clipped the upper part of the zone, but Orr goes around. He's down 0-1. First runner in scoring position in this game. Henley on second. Tipped back into the glove of Murphy. And now 0-2. Back-to-back 94-mile-an-hour fastballs in different spots from Lamon.
Danny Orr still leads the Giants hitting in almost every stat. Has been in a mini slump the past couple games.
0-2. He tips this one back into the glove, and he's down on strikes for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Bryce Rudisill. Rudisill, a rare quiet night, at least recently for Rudisill last night, finishing 0 for 3. Did draw 2 walks. Has 3 home runs in his last 6 games, including one at Bethesda on Tuesday as he watches strike 1. Oh, 1 to Rudisill, swings and misses there. Another fastball outside. So Lehman's fastball getting mixed up in and out of the zone, but close enough to get these swings and misses from Giants hitters. Orr had 3 swings and misses, and now Rudisill down 0-2. He hits this one back into straightaway center. That's down for a base hit. Henley will just stop at third as Peltier throws that one in. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out for Andrew Holub.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting from Rudisill there. That ball still coming in at 94, and I was going to say Lamb seemed to dial it in after those 2 leadoff walks. However, Rudisill gets the first hit this game for the Giants.
Really great piece of hitting to keep the line moving for Andrew Holub, who had an amazing night last night. Can he follow it up here early in this game? First pitch to Holub, misses low. It's now 1-0 to the former Iowa Hawkeye, now heading to USC Upstate down in South Carolina. Now 1-0 for Holub. Pops this one up. Gonzalez ranging back, and he makes the grab in the infield dirt. Unproductive out for Holub, and now there's 2 gone for Ryan Maxey.
Yeah, just an unfortunate hit. Holub didn't even drop his bat running down the first base because he knew that was going to be out 2 this inning.
Now Ryan Maxey steps up. Maxey came around to be the game-winning run Tuesday night. Swings and misses there. He's down 0-1. Lehman certainly has found his control now after the back-to-back leadoff walks. 0-1. Misses outside on Maxey.
I was going to mention on Maxey. Has scored 9 times in his last 8 games. Still has that streak we talked about against the big train.
1-1 gets away, and Henley's going to be coming home, and it's 1-0 Giants after that pass ball gets away from Dylan Murphy, and both runners advance. Now first base is unoccupied, and another big opportunity still remains for Gaithersburg to pile it on.
Yeah, opening up first base, huge for the Giants, especially with 2 outs. Rudisill and Powell can stay, not forced to go anywhere.
2-1 the count now to Ryan Maxey. Holds there, now 3-1. Now was going to mention just the amount of walks that Maxey has drawn recently. 13 walks in his last 10 games. 3-1 pitch. And it's a 14th walk in 11 games now for Ryan Maxey. And the bases go back to being loaded for Cade Hentz.
Yeah, another big at-bat. Maxey, who you talk about his walks, he's also been getting a lot more hits than at the start of the season. His batting average finally got into the 200. He's batting .204.
And Cade Hentz steps up now, and he's in a slump, hoping to get out of it, much like Maxey did. He hits this one the other way, and it lines right to Emilio Gonzalez's glove. Came in at 93, came off the bat at 88, and if it had just tucked in that foul line, it could have been possibly 3 runs with the speedy Maxey, but unfortunately, stranding the bases loaded is Gaithersburg, but they do get 1 run, an important 1 run as we saw a couple nights ago. So we'll step away. 1-0 Gaithersburg here from Criswell Automotive Field on the Giants Broadcast Network. Yep. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. We go into the second inning. Gaithersburg grabbing an early run. Nate Houghton-Henley scores on a pass ball off the glove of Dylan Murphy. And after a couple nights ago, the game finished 2-1. Every run important. Even though Gaithersburg did strand the bases loaded, we hope that, much like recently, Jake, that doesn't come back to bite him. Swing and a miss from Emilio Gonzalez on the first pitch.
Yeah, I believe that's 3 games in a row where the Giants have only scored 1 or no runs with bases loaded.
Oh, 1 is popped up into the netting. Yeah, it's been interesting to have a lot more opportunities go to waste and then still come out with the win. So we hope that trend continues yet again here today, but still a lot of baseball yet to be played. 0-2 to Gonzalez, misses low from Angelides, and the count goes to 1-2. Gonzalez leading the league in batting average, batting .382 coming into today. 1-2, misses outside, now 2-2.
That ball looked to get away from Angelides, not as bad as in the first inning. However, definitely was released a little earlier than Angelides wanted.
Obviously, not to his liking. This one popped foul by Gonzalez. Angelides now shaking his head with a grin, so pitch to pitch, 2 completely different emotions from Angelides. 2-2. Hit hard and into the glove of Marino, who looked like he was going to go for a jump, but ended up just staying still, putting his glove up to make the grab.
Yeah, it was 1-1 off the bat so fast that didn't have the angle Marino first thought it was going to have. So easy play for the second baseman, who's been very active these past couple of games. He's been very effective at first base.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job in that second base spot. Played a lot of shortstop early in this season. First pitch called strike 1 on John Martinez. Martinez hasn't played since July 12th. 0-1. Called strike 2 on Martinez. He's quickly down 0-2.
And you talk about the Alabama connection. John Martinez, Emilio Gonzalez, and Dylan Murphy, all FAU players.
0-2 called ball one. Yeah, it's so interesting when, a bunch of guys from the same school all show up together. This year we have Magnus Krieger and Michael Cantiliano from Seton Hall. 1-2. Hit hard, lofted. Powell ranging back in left field, and he makes the grab and stops himself up against the fence, but throws it back in, and there's two gone here in the top of the second.
Yeah, that one, he didn't get the exit speed off the bat, was definitely hit well. However, Martinez seemed to be just a little too under it. Powell had a long way to go, but did not leave the field.
Yeah, it's a cool but still humid day here in Gaithersburg. So ball carrying a little bit. First pitch misses outside on Peyton Steele. Steele comes into this game with 22 RBIs and 25 runs. 1-0. Chops this one down over to Maxey. Maxey fields it, throws over to first. Not in time. Steele will reach base on an infield single.
Yeah, with the press box we have here at Criswell Automotive Field, couldn't see where Maxey was starting. He seemed to get that ball late. I was expecting him to come out of the corner of our vision a little earlier. Steele with the infield single. He leads the team in doubles with 12. So an uncharacteristic hit from Steele, but he'll take it.
That brings up Matthew Wesley, the rising junior in the portal coming from Virginia Tech. He also returns back to this Big Train squad from last year. 1-0. Hits this one into right field or ranging back. He gets under it to make the grab at kind of the last second. High pointed that baseball, but does make the grab for out number 3.
Yeah, you heard some of the Giants team just screaming back, 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 and thankfully Daniel heard him at the last second. A nice big stretch to make that last grab. But Angelides pitching well. The only Big Train to reach base is Steele and Peltier. Everyone else either popped out, grounded out, or lined out. So no strikeouts for Angelides, yet still successful.
Yeah, we've seen that success no matter what on the mound for Gaithersburg lately. They made Connor Lehman work in the bottom of the first. Let's see how much they can do in the bottom of the second. 1-0, and we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Jake Tseronis. 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Gaithersburg trying to extend their lead. It'll be Zach White up first for Gaithersburg. He went 1 for 3 last night with a double in the top of the ninth, and then came around to be the winning run last night in Woodbridge.
Yeah, Zach White's on a 4-game hit streak and a 4-game scoring streak. He's a guy who's been turning up the bats recently for the Giants.
Watches ball one there. Yeah, he's certainly been one of many to light a fire under his bat and has been a great part of this win streak that the Giants find themselves in. He watches strike one there, though. Now 1-1 to White. the rising sophomore at ULM. 1-1. Swing and a miss there from White. He's now down 1-2. We have some more rain coming, but shouldn't last more than 15 or 20 minutes. 1-2 gets out of the glove of Murphy, and now the count evens at 2-2. Obviously, Jake, last night we had a 30-minute lightning delay. Didn't get any rain at all. Storm was well to the east of us at that point in Woodbridge last night, but still had to wait 30 minutes to finish that game. 2-2. Tipped back into the glove of Murphy. Or did he not? Appears he didn't handle that one, excuse me. Couldn't quite see it get away there, but staying alive is Zach White. Two. Called ball just outside. I'm sure Lehman and Murphy disagree with that call, but it is a full count now for Zach White. Payoff pitch. Cranked foul. That one was a fastball in on the hands of White. Did a good job to get a piece of it.
I liked how Liam went back to the off speed. We've seen obviously a lot of high heat from him. That was a nice possible strike three pitch.
Full count again. This one way inside. Zach White's not going to swing at that, but he will trot down to first base. That's already the fourth walk surrendered by Connor Lehman in this start, and he's only gotten through one inning.
Yeah, 4 walks and 1 strikeout for Lehman, so not what you want, but again, this is what the stat says. He's now has 13 strikeouts, and it's 25 walks.
Wow. Not where you want to be in the strikeout to walk ratio. Scoring the bunt here is Marino. He pulls it back, and it's called ball 1 low. Another fastball from Lehman.
Marino, another Giant that's on a 4-game hit streak.
1-0 to Marino. Pops this one foul back into the fence. Yeah, Marino has 8 hits in his last 9 games. And we talked about how he had a lot of steals for not a lot of times on base throughout the season. But now that he's found himself on base more and more, he's certainly been getting more steals. Had 2 last night in Woodbridge. 1-1 now to Marino. That one gets through the legs of Murphy. And White will take off for second base. So another runner in scoring position, and Lehman continues to have control trouble on the mound.
Yeah, that got through the 5-hole of Murphy. He looked like he was an NHL goalie trying to stop it. Wasn't there in time.
Unfortunately for Murphy, he doesn't have as big pads as NHL goaltenders do, or else he might have had the stop on that one. 2-1 now to Marino. Inside, 3-1.
So Lehman he looks looking like he was getting it together at the second half of the first inning. However, has come out to the bottom of the second, still struggling to find the zone.
Struggling with the top of the order in the on-deck circle. 3-1. Called strike 2. Marino thought that was ball 4. It was low in the zone, but just clipped knee high on Aiden Marino. Now a full count here from Connor Lehman. This one popped up, tailing foul, and it does get out of play towards the Giants' bullpen. Full count remains for Marino.
Now this is the challenge for Liam. Marino fouling that ball that did find the strike zone off. Can Lehman find it 3 times in a row?
Certainly been a challenge for Lehman in this start. Full count pitch. This one hit off the mound. Towering bounce. Martinez fields it, throws over to first. In time at first to get Aiden Marino. Zach White does get to third base. That was one of the highest hops I've ever seen off a ground ball. Martinez did a great job fielding that one, then getting the throw off in time to Gonzalez.
Yeah, I think Marino was just robbed of a hit by the pitcher's bump. That was off the bat at 89, and it was just low enough where it did catch that front side. Still pump. I don't think if it hopped very high, that was going to find the outfield easily. Still advances Zach White to third.
This one gets over the glove of Murphy, but the fence here at Criswell Automotive a lot closer than most other ballparks, so Zach White not having too much room to work with there stays put at third. Yeah, I certainly think that likely would have found the gap in straightaway infield going into straightaway center. 1-0 finds the zone on Nate Houghton. Henley 1-1. Henley was the first of now 4 walks given up by Lehman. First of 3 back in the first inning. 1-1 pitch. Left low. Called ball 2. So again, non-fastball not working for Lehman. That one's 79. Missed low. This one hit into right field. That's down for a base hit. An RBI single scores Zach White, and it's 2-0 Gaithersburg.
Now batting for the Giants, left fielder number 19.
Yeah, so that's back-to-back 2 nice pieces of contact from the Giants. Henley got this one a little more in the air. Didn't have to worry about the pitcher's mound stealing a hit from him, and that is the second run for the Giants' quick 2-0 lead.
As the reins picked up once again, Gaithersburg grabbing a 2-0 lead early in this game. So crucial to do that on the big train. Strike 1 called to Brady Powell.
And rain starting to intensify, starting to hear it hit off of the ground.
This one cracked over and over the third baseman of Parker Corbin. And we saw Parker Corbin get eaten up by another tough hop in Bethesda the other night when he was at second base. That one off the bat at 98, came in at 89, middle. And Brady Powell made that one pay and made Parker Corbin look silly for a second straight meeting between these two teams.
Yeah, the Giants must have something against Corbin. Nate Houghton Henley hit a 101-mile-per-hour ground ball towards Corbin. It was so fast, it hit the ground and hopped entirely over Corbin's ducked body. And that there just getting under the glove of Corbin.
This one hit over to Martinez at short. He'll flip to third to get Henley out at third base. Interesting fielder's choice. You don't often see that, but that was where the play was taking Martinez. Had his body going towards third and opted for the counter to get over to third base. So now 2 outs. Runners still on first and second as Danny Orr reaches on that fielder's choice for Bryce Rudisill.
It's a nice heads-up play from Martinez. Of course, you always want the leadoff runner out. Gets him there.
First pitch to Rudisill, called strike 1. Yeah, it's a very interesting choice, I would say. I mean, if Henley doesn't really let up there to let that ground ball go through and act as a screen, as we've seen so many times before, he might be safe at third. 0-1. This one hit to the second baseman, who fields that one as right, flips it to Martinez at second, and gets Orr at second base. So another run nabbed by Gaithersburg as an RBI single from Nate Houghton Henley scores Zach White. It's 2-0, and we'll go to the top of the third on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. 2-0. Rain continues to fall here in Gaithersburg. We continue to play. Alex Angelides back on the mound for his third inning of work.
Angelides has been pitching well, still looking for his first punch-out, however. Is pretty similar showing we saw from him against the Big Train last time he played. Not a lot of strikeouts, however, was dealing.
He deals that one outside the zone, and it's now 1-0 from Angelides, and we have been so gracious by the hospitality that everyone has shown, but namely Miss Lisa Harrington here in Gaithersburg, getting us some cheeseburgers here tonight, and has been giving us food and water all season long as Parker Corbin fouls that one up into the netting. He's now down 1-2. Very gracious of really all the teams and their various hospitality. 1-2. Skips in. Now 2-2 on Parker Corbin.
Yeah, I also don't know if there's a bigger Giants fan than Mrs. Harrington. At every game early, always feeding us and the players.
2-2 is popped up and foul by Corbin. Corbin was seemingly eaten up by another hard hit ground ball towards him. It was a single for Brady Powell. 2-2. Inside. That pitch coming in at 83. Corbin standing still. Would have taken it had it broken a couple more inches inside. Full count now. Popped up into shallow left. Hence calls for it, and he makes the grab. Called off a charging Powell in shallow left field. I mean, just by how far Hence had to go into the outfield grass, thought maybe Powell would call that one off. But I'm sure the grass is pretty slippery now with the rain coming down, so a charging outfielder would have trouble slowing down. Out is made, however.
Yeah, Hence also a defensive leader for this Giants roster. We talked about his struggles at the plate, but he has been lights out at shortstop ever since arriving midway through the season.
Has been amazing defensively, flashing the leather. 0-1 to Murphy after he looked silly on the first pitch, but he watches ball one to even the count at 1-1. 1-1 from Angelides. Popped up. This one into shallow center. Henley coming in, looks up and makes the grab. Rain not bothering these high pop-ups, certainly. And now there's two gone here in the top of the third.
With this rain, I mean, the sky awfully gray. Definitely a little harder to see the ball up in the air. So happy to see the Giants outfield not have too many issues with the sky and weather conditions.
We saw a late game scare last night in Woodbridge where there was a pop-up over Bryce Rudisil's head at first base, and he lost track of it, but luckily Magnus Krieger, who was in right field, had the eye on it and was able to make the grab about 20 feet back from where Rudisil was standing, and that actually ended the game. And I believe it was bases loaded when that happened too, so it was really close call, but Giants able to escape with a win. It's now ball two on Alex Peltier. He squared the bunt on the first pitch, and it missed.
Yeah, hoping not to see one of those. Rudisil just, I mean, I thought he was almost joking around with how far he was away from the ball, but Krieger was there to save the day.
2-0, swing and a miss from Peltier, now 2-1. Yeah, it was so interesting when stuff like that happens because Rudisil just put his hands up like, I can't make the play because I don't know where the baseball is. But play was made. Now 2-1. Peltier hits that one hard and foul. Was very late on that pitch. 79 just above the zone. But now 2-2 to Alex Peltier, who singled his first time up and then was caught stealing back in the top of the first. 2-2 pitch. Misses high. Another full count for Angelides.
Angelides won his last full count battle, looking to do the same in the same inning.
It's very important not to let hitters get away. Full count, 2 outs. Fouled off by Peltier, who's able to stay alive. pitch low in the zone, but able to fight it off is Peltier, who stays alive. The East Carolina Pirate, rising sophomore down there. Full count pitch again. Hit hard over to Maxey at third. Nice play. Can the throw get over? And Rudisill had to leap to keep that one in play. He does so successfully, but unable to get his foot back down on the base. It was a nice job by Maxey to get it in his glove, but the throw just a little high on Rudisill.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Maxey fielded it on a weird hop, so it was just a little tucked into his glove, took an extra skip, and I'm assuming just tried to get the ball out a little faster, causing it to be off target.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard hit at 93, and he had to back up into his armpit kind of, but did get it, and seemed like he had time, but Peltier, his speed may have rushed that throw a little bit. It's now 1-0 to right. Pickoff almost gets Peltier, who is getting into his primary lead when that pickoff throw came down to first. 1-0 pitch delivered high and outside by Angelides.
Yeah, we get a time call. I was actually going to mention that. I wonder if how wet the grass is and it's affecting the speed of the ball in that last hit to Maxey. It's also, I mean, unlike Angelides, he has time to, of course, wipe off his hand in the ball. Maxey got to make a play with the ball as it is. Could have easily slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, the conditions changing rapidly. 2-1 after that called strike on Brennan Wright. Got here to Criswell Automotive Field. Another pickoff attempt. No tag applied. But I got here to the field today, and the tarps were on the mound and around home plate. Actually, extra tarps were added, and they weren't really removed until a few minutes before game time. This one hit hard into left center, ranging over is Henley, and he makes the grab on the run. Henley covering the gap, gets the third out of Brennan Wright.
Yeah, you got the no-fly zone in the outfield for the Giants today. Henley using his speed to get over to that ball. Keeps the big train scoreless.
That was an impeccable closing speed from Nate Houghton Henley. And due up for Gaithersburg, Andrew Holub, Ryan Maxey, and Kate Hentz when we come back here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Andrew Holub up as Gaithersburg scored one in the bottom of the first, one in the bottom of the second. They lead 2-0 going to the bottom of the third. Andrew Holub could continue the trend, maybe even pile on more as he leads off here.
Yeah, Holub was the one-trick pony for the Giants last night. They had 7 runs scored, only 6 hits, and Holub bring in 4 of those runs scored.
Yeah, 4 RBIs, set the tone early in the top of the first with a home run pulled inside the foul pole down in Woodbridge. That was exceptionally close. I believe it was 320, right, Jake?
Yeah, it was 320, so this Criswell Automated Field is looking very large today.
1-1, he pops this one up. Ranging back is Matthew Wesley in left field. and he makes the grab there for out number 1. That was 90 in the top of the zone. Didn't quite get, I was going to say didn't quite get a distance or an exit velo on that one. I'm sure Holub's not going to be too happy with that. But
I was just going to say, I wonder what the distance was. We were just talking about how short the field was at Woodbridge High School. I wonder how close that would have been to leaving.
Yeah, I mean, the home run last night was 94 off the bat, going 356. So would have been a home run, I believe, here at Criswell Automotive Field. The fence is 350, but it could have clipped the top of the fence. You never know unless you hit it that distance here. But it's 1-1 now to Maxey. Watches strike 2. Now 1-2 to Maxey. Sky opening up a little bit now with the sun creeping in. 1-2. This one sounded like a busted bat, grounded over to right at second, who throws to first in time to get Maxey. And it is indeed a busted bat, as Hentz broke that one against the turf, and it split cleanly in two.
Yeah, Maxey, when he was running down the first, seemed to throw his bat in anger. Of course, I mean, you know, these wood bats aren't free to these players. Very expensive tools, so you don't want to see it get broken, especially this early into a game.
And there's always the question, was that his bat to begin with? Some of these guys use their teammates' bats on occasion, not just because they may not have one, just because it's in reach or they wanted to try that model out. So hope that's Maxey's bat and he doesn't have a teammate of his mad at him now. 1-0, Hentz fouls this one off. Hentz had a line out to third base that ended the bottom of the first, and it was pretty hard hit, and if it had just been a couple feet over, about 2 feet over, it likely would have been a bases clearing single or double. That pitch misses low on Hentz, now 2-1. Hentz had a hit taken off the board last night as well because it was deemed an error by the scorekeeper for the Grays. That one nearly hits Hentz, but now 3-1.
Yeah, I said it last night. I'm positive Hentz's hit would have counted if that game was being played here at Criswell Automotive Field. I think that was some saltiness from the Grays staff.
3-1. This one he chops over to third baseman Corbin, who fields it, throws on the run, and gets the third out. Looked pretty routine. And now we're through 3 here on the Giants Broadcast Network. 2-0. The score remains here from Criswell Automotive Field. We'll step away and get you right back with more action yet to come. Angelitas strutting back out on the mound for Gaithersburg when we come back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Happy to have all 51 of you tuning in as the Gaithersburg Giants, through the first 3 innings, are up 2-0 as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Josh Skoronsky up for the big train, trying to respond to a couple early runs from Gaithersburg. First pitch to Skoronsky misses above the belt on the 6'5" rising junior from Winthrop. designated hitter tonight for Sal Colangelo's Big Train. That one misses low and inside now on Skoronsky.
Skoronsky popped out high and far to Danny Orr back in the first inning.
2-0. He's off that one. That one high and inside. So, two high pitches, 2 inside pitches on 3 pitches because of that one, covering all of those 2 categories. Angelitas needing to find the zone here, and he does so. Now 3-1 to Josh Skoronsky.
Angelitas hasn't given up a walk yet, looking to avoid his first.
And he does so right there on that pitch. Obviously not happy with himself.
Now batting for the Big Train, number 45, Emilio Gonzalez.
First free pass issued by Angelitas, as you noted, Jake. However, on the offensive side, the Giants have been able to draw 4 walks early in this game, making Connor Lehman work. Certainly working to their advantage thus far. First pitch to Gonzalez popped up, tailing out of play down the third base line, and it does get over the fence here. Now 0-1 to Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, you see him trying to dry his bat with his pants. Shows the conditions here at Criswell Automated Field.
0-1. Skips in. White able to gobble that one up. Now 1-1. Time called for a new baseball for Angelitas.
I feel like we're going to see that a lot today.
Yeah. It's really tough when the field is lightly wet. 1-1. This one hit right back up the middle, skips off the pitcher's mound. That one gets into center field. And it's a single for Emilio Gonzalez to keep the line moving to bring up John Martinez.
Only the third hit given up by Angelitas. All of them just singles.
Yeah, that one again leaving the bat at 101. That's back-to-back triple-digit exit velos for Emilio Gonzalez. Shows you the power in his bat as his line out to Aiden Marino. His first time up left the bat at 101. First pitch to Martinez, scoring a bunt, pulls it back, and that pitch misses high and outside. Angelitas made it through 4 1/3 last time out. Jake, you noted earlier how he was really solid through the first part and then seemingly sputtered off in the late 4th, early 5th. 1-0. The bunt does get down for Martinez. Maxey charging in, going to throw to first. Not in time. A great bunt from John Martinez loads the bases with no outs.
I mean, that's a picture-perfect bunt from Martinez. Nothing Maxey can really do. I think he made a good play on the ball. Our bases loaded with no outs for the Big Train, so this is a big challenge, the biggest Angelitas has faced so far.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough task for Angelitas after giving up a leadoff walk to Skoronsky, who's now on third. Broken bat lined to Marino. Throw down to first. Throw gets away and into the dugout. Every base runner will advance. It was a busted bat for Peyton Steele. Lined to Marino. Marino looked like he was going to throw to second originally. His dugout told him to throw to first. The throw to first got away as he tried to double up John Martinez. And now they'll see there's a discussion between umpires here. Not sure what the call would be. If it maybe hit off the Big Train base coach.
They're giving everyone another base.
So now I'm not sure at all what the ruling is here to give everyone an extra base on top of that. That ties the game if that's the case, 2-2, and now Martinez will stand on third.
Yeah, Angelitas not happy with that call. Manager TJ Brockway also comes out to ask about it. However, call stands, and a very unfortunate one. That could have been a double play and kept the Big Train scoreless. It turns into a 2 RBI hit for the Big Train.
Yeah, another error for this Giants defense that was errorless last night in Woodbridge, and I believe only had one error or no errors Tuesday night at Bethesda. So, Angelides frustrated now with the call. Giants dugout trying to cheer him on. It's now a tie game. Go-ahead run on third. Called strike one on Matthew Wesley. So it was a busted bat line out for Peyton Steele. Possible double play. 0-1, now 0-2 on Wesley. But then a throwing error that gets into the dugout of Gaithersburg. Advances runners each up 2 bases, making it 2-2. This one hit right back up the middle, and now it's 3-2 Bethesda. An RBI single for Matthew Wesley.
And again, of course, Angelides responsible for allowing all 3 base runners to get on, but it was just very unfortunate how the Big Train were able to get their 3 runs this inning. I mentioned Marino gets that throw on target to Rudisil, and it's still 0-2 with 2 outs. So it's going to take a lot. Angelides is doing well in that at-bat. I thought he was going to get the response the Giants needed, but a nice piece of hitting from Corbin keeps the Big Train moving.
Yeah, leaving the bat at 94. Angelides tried to find that inside that got strike 2. And now that brings up Parker Corbin, who popped out to Cade Hentz back last inning. Just 1 out, and now Matthew Wesley stands on first. Strike 1 called on the outside for Parker Corbin. 0-1 with 1 out. Skips in. Zach White does a nice job keeping that one down in front of him. Count evens at 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Inside and low. Now 2-1 for Angelides, who's now kind of gotten a mix. Hasn't really consistently found the zone recently. And those pitches have been driven. This one is driven foul by Corbin. Now 2-2.
Has to be a big strikeout for Angelides. Gets him back on track to finish this inning. Not allowing any more runs for the Big Train.
Yeah, already a 3-spot for Bethesda in this inning. A grunt and a little sigh there from Angelides as he loses grip again. Now full count pitch to Parker Corbin. Angelides still searching for his first punch out. This one hit hard and foul again into the Giants bullpen. Full count remains between Angelides and Parker Corbin.
Angelides wiping his hand very harshly across his jersey, trying to get any sort of liquid off of it.
Full count pitch again. Misses outside, and Parker Corbin is aboard with the second walk this inning.
Yeah, looks like manager TJ Brockway is going to come out for a mound meeting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see a pitching change here or not. Can hear there is some action in the Giants bullpen. There was no motion to the bullpen from manager TJ Brockway. And yet again, to reiterate, Gaithersburg nearly had 2 outs and no runs crossed for Bethesda in a near double play. And then the ruling from the umpires not only allowed 1 to score on the throwing error, but 2, which tied the game. And then Matthew Wesley's RBI single scored Jordan Martinez to give Bethesda their first lead of the game. Wesley now on second base after the walk to Parker Corbin.
And again, I'm really interested by the call from the umpires that allowed the Big Train to get another base. Usually that's called if the base runners are closer to the further bag, but everyone was standstill. There wasn't a lot of time to react to the wild pitch, so again, just don't really understand what allowed him to get an extra bag.
This one hit right back to Angelides. He'll flip it to first base. to get one out. And now that'll bring up the top of the order in Alex Peltier.
Alex Peltier.
So heads up play there for Angelides to get one out. He maybe could have gotten Corbin at second, but obviously in an inning that's had a couple errant throws, didn't want to chance it again. First pitch to Peltier finds the zone on the outside.
And another big at-bat. You hate to see 2 more runs come in for the big train.
Yeah, this is their on-base machine and Alex Peltier. 0-1, misses low and outside, 1-1. Peltier reached on an error his last time up. An error here would almost certainly score at least a run. 1-1, misses low, now 2-1.
This is the 110th at-bat for Peltier this season. He came in leading the big train with 107.
Peltier watches that one high, now 3-1. So a lot of at-bats for Peltier this season. He's certainly seen a lot of pitches with that. And now the discipline will come into effect here. 3-1, 2 outs. Swing and a miss from Peltier. Couldn't lay off of it. Cuts outside, tails away from the righty. And now it's a full count, 2 outs. Angelides trying to stop the bleeding. Can he do it here? Payoff pitch. This one hit hard into left field, tailing foul, and it does get out of play. Probably a sigh of relief there from Angelides after that one falls.
Yeah, that's going to be in a tough spot. Didn't tell how far it went back, but if it was fair, I feel like we can safely say both base runners would have scored for the big train.
Yeah, that was certainly put into the very deep corners here at Criswell Automotive Field, as we mentioned earlier. 350 all the way around here in Gaithersburg. But now a full count, 2 outs yet again. Misses low, and Angelides not happy with himself. That's now his 3rd walk given up this inning.
I mean, with that, it's such a mental battle when you hit a batter into a line out in a situation where you could have got another out, and instead it leads to 3 runs being scored, bases loaded for the 2nd time this inning.
First pitch, Brennan Wright pops this one up into center. Henley ranging over, settles under it, and makes the grab. Bethesda strands the bases loaded, but not before they plate 3 runs, 2 off of a throwing error, but it is their first lead of the game. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The score now 3-2 on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Yep.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Big Train grabbing their first lead of the game with 3 in the top of the 4th, and they'll now put a new arm on the mound to try and keep that lead. It's number 43, James Beasley, a rising sophomore out of Princeton, standing at 6'7" on that mound.
Yeah, Beasley, he's only made 1 appearance for the Big Train. It was on July 10th in a win against the Senators. He had 2 innings pitched. He had 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. So he's got an ERA of 0, but not a lot of, history behind it. We'll see what he's got to show against the Giants tonight.
Late season audition. This one popped up on the first pitch by Zach White into left field. Coming in to make the grab is Wesley, and it does finally get back down into his glove. 4 out number 1, 1 pitch, 1 out. Pretty good start for Beasley in his second appearance this summer.
Aiden Marino coming up, a guy who you mentioned a couple times, believed he was robbed of a single in his first at-bat.
See what he can do here. Bases empty, 1 out, facing not Connor Lehman. As we mentioned, James Beasley. Beasley throws that one high for ball 1. Connor Lehman's day is done. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, and then 4 walks and 1 strikeout. 1-0 tipped back into the mask of the home plate umpire, who needs a second to shake that one off. Umpires come in to take a look at their colleague.
Yeah, shake it off is right. The home plate umpire almost twitching a little bit, so we have the Giants trainer coming out to make sure he's good.
Yeah, I mean, had an umpire get hit last night in Woodbridge. He had a little bit to get back in there, and he was all right to continue. Umpire just now chatting it up with the trainer here for Gaithersburg.
Yeah, I think they're just giving him some time to breathe. Seems to be all he needs before he's back at it.
He's all right, and now we'll get back underway. 1-1 count, 1 out to Aiden Marino. Marino, a sophomore, currently in the portal, still searching for his new home. 1-1 pitch from Beasley. Called strike 2, now 1-2 the count on Aiden Marino. One-two pitch as Beasley eyes his first punch out. This one hits softly back up the middle to Martinez. Takes a funny hop, but the throw is in time down to first. And there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
This Big Train infield has looked very strong to start this game. Very aggressive on the ball. They'll take too long to get the ball out of their glove either. Then very accurate over to Gonzalez at first base as well.
Yeah, it was a couple trips to Bethesda ago that we saw Martinez struggle at the shortstop position. Made 2 or 3 errors in a singular game against the Giants. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. That pitch misses way high and outside on Nate Houghton-Henley. Henley has reached base both times via a walk, and then came around to score, and then an RBI single last time up, back in the bottom of the 2nd. 1-0. Leaves that one alone, called ball 2 low at 88. Not as much velocity from Beasley as we saw from Lehman. Maybe a little more control. He's got 1 pitch, 1 out on Zach White, and then a ground out of Aiden Marino, but now 3 straight balls to begin this at-bat on Nate Houghton-Henley.
You can say Lehman escaped his outing with only 4 walks. A lot of full counts along with his outing.
Yeah, there were certainly could have been a lot more walks and a lot more runs scored as well. 3-0. Misses up high. A 4-pitch walk for Beasley.
Now batting for the Giants, number 19, Brady Powell.
And sorry, dude, I like how you bring up the runs stranded because the Giants, we talked about the amount of runs they stranded recently. It hasn't come back to bite them their past 2 games, but today we already see the Giants lose their 2-run lead when they had bases loaded and more runners in scoring position in the 3rd inning. So we're gonna have to turn it up here. Still a lot of time to do.
This one hit hard and into left field. That's a good start as Brady Powell has reached base all 3 times now, same like Nate Houghton-Henley, except Powell now 2 for 2 with 2 singles instead of the 2 walks that Nate Houghton-Henley has. And now that brings up Danny Orr. Orr was the lone strikeout Lehman got back in the bottom of the 1st, and then grounded into a fielder's choice in the bottom of the 2nd.
Yeah, I mentioned Danny Orr coming into this game was struggling with hits, hasn't found as much success as we've seen the rest of the season.
Both runners take off, swing and a miss. The throw down to 2nd. Juggles around, they don't know where the baseball is, and Nate Houghton-Henley scores! Tie ball game again!
And that is just some great heads-up base running from Henley. Sees the ball get away from right down at 2nd base. Gets to home before a throw's even made to home. And it was a nice double steal. I mean, you got 2 of your fastest guys on base. Almost a no-brainer.
And Brady Powell didn't take off. It appeared to me that it was slightly delayed. Don't know if that was on purpose or not by Powell. But either way, gets the throw down to 2nd. And Brennan Wright did not know where that baseball ended up. 0-1 to Orr. Misses upstairs now.
Yeah, and I mean, that is a huge play for the Giants. 2 outs before you have any base runners on. You get back-to-back guys on base, then a double steal, and Henley brings himself home to tie the game. This could have easily been a no-run inning for the Giants.
1-1. Finds the zone on Orr. Yeah, Jake, just really great job by them. I mean, we saw it throughout the season how even with 2 outs, they can still generate some offense and able to tie this game back up at 3. Powell in scoring position now on 2nd. 1-2, 2 outs to Danny Orr. Pitch from Beasley. Swing and a miss from Orr. He's down on strikes for the 2nd time this game. And that ends the 4th inning. But not before Gaithersburg creates some chaos on the base paths and ties this game back up 3-3 heading to the 5th inning. Don't go anywhere on the Giants Broadcast Network.
You ready?
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Gaithersburg able to equal the score. It's now 3-3, heading to the top of the 5th inning. New face on the mound for the Giants. It's Leo Simpson from Towson.
Yeah, Leo Simpson coming in today. He's got a 3.27 ERA. He's got 9 games played, no starts, 11 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 15 walks. This is his second time against the Big Train. First time we played him was all the way back on June 7th in the Giants 11-10 win. We're going to do the same here at Criswell Automated Field.
He throws ball 1 high and outside on Skoronsky. Yeah, Simpson has really settled in nicely for Gaithersburg. Started the season off a little rocky, but certainly locked in here. This one hit hard into right field or ranging over. That gets into the gap. Skoronsky on his way to second. Henley fields it at the fence. The throw in. Skoronsky's headed to third, and the throw is offline. A stand-up triple to lead off the inning for Josh Skoronsky.
And Skoronsky just found the perfect gap between Orr and Henley. Especially Orr was trying to go for the grabs, and when he missed it, just took him offline a little bit.
Yeah, perfectly into the gap is right. I mean, Orr was just about 1 full stride away from maybe coming down with that baseball. Henley was the one who fielded it all the way at the fence, and Skoronsky showcasing the speed. Now, Gonzalez pops this one up into the netting. He's down 0-1. So I guess broadcaster's Jinx strikes again, was talking about how Simpson has settled in for Gaithersburg this summer, and then leadoff triple surrendered there off the big bat of Josh Skoronsky.
We're waiting for there's something going on.
I think Gonzalez may have lost grip on his bat,
Yeah.
so went to go get more pine tar. Because I don't think the bat busted on that foul ball. Certainly didn't sound like it, and he grabs a pink bat that's either the same bat or he just has multiple pink bats with him today. But I think he was just grabbing some more pine tar. 0-1, swing and a miss. Gonzalez down 0-2.
I mean, this is just for the pine tar obviously not helping Gonzalez make some contact. That was right there. That was a layup. Had to make a comment after a big swing and a miss.
0-2. Fouled off, just staying alive. Nice speed mix-up from Simpson. Locates the same spot, but a big 23-mile-an-hour difference on that one.
A strikeout against Gonzalez, the best hitter on this Big Train roster after a triple given up, would be huge for Simpson.
That one misses low. Now 1-2. Yeah, Simpson very much needs to get at least 2 unproductive outs to have a chance of escaping this inning. But he's up 1-2 on Gonzalez. Swing and a miss. Crucial punch out from Simpson. And he gets the big bat of Gonzalez down on strikes to bring up John Martinez.
There were a couple big swing and misses from Gonzalez in that at-bat. Simpson now seems to be settled in. I think it's safe to say.
Infield continues to play in with Martinez up. He's 1 for 2 with a single his last time up. He watches strike 1 there. Nice breaking ball from Simpson. He's up 0-1 again. Swing and a miss by Martinez in the dirt. And now it's 0-2.
It's one pitch away from that second unproductive out you talked about, David.
Yeah, very crucial to get up on Bethesda here. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back punch-outs on back-to-back swings and misses. And now there's 2 gone here in the top of the 5th inning. Sensational stuff here from Simpson.
Yeah, that low off speed causing a lot of problems for Gonzalez and Martinez. Both of them go down to a knee on their strike 3.
That one gets away from White. There's going to be no throw home, and Skoronsky scores on that pitch that got away from Simpson and Zach White alike. And now the one-run lead goes back to the visitors, 4-3 Bethesda, after Skoronsky comes home after he led off this inning with a stand-up triple.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Zach White not able to get all of that ball. He actually redirects it farther from him, making it that much easier for Skoronsky to come in and score.
Now 1-0. That one finds the zone. 1-1 now to Peyton Steele. Steele, I was going to say, had that line out that caused all the chaos last inning.
Yeah, I don't even know if that goes down as RBI because the umpires directed the base runners home, but he technically had a 2 RBI line out in his last at-bat.
Yeah, it eventually drove in runs via an error, but now 1-2 in this at-bat. This one's chopped foul. 1-2 count remains to Peyton Steele, rising sophomore at Bama. As the rain has seemingly stopped here in Gaithersburg, we hope that's the last of it tonight. 1-2. That one misses upstairs. No one on the base paths to advance.
So we just had a tennis ball bounce up to us here at the treehouse. Some kids just playing around, but caused both me and David to flinch, didn't know what was going on.
I was really confused. Don't see a base or any type of ball for that matter coming from that side. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Simpson gives up 1 run but gets 3 strikeouts, all swings and misses. And we're through the top of the 5th inning. It's now 4-3 Bethesda.
Yeah, it's a nice outing from Leo Simpson. He's already had more strikeouts than any pitcher we've seen in this game. Unfortunate. Of course, you let up the triple. Basically 2 pitches allowed 1 run to score that inning for the big train. However, the Giants didn't show any quit. Some acknowledgement to their slogan. Got to run last inning, looking to tie the ball game once again and take back their lead.
Yeah, they were able to get their 3rd run, which momentarily tied the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And now they'll start the bottom of the 5th with no outs, obviously, and we'll come right back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Joining me, Jake Tseronis. Jake, we're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning here, and Gaithersburg down 1. What needs to change really for Gaithersburg to get back up 2 like they were in the early going?
Well, we saw last inning before they were able to get their 3rd run of the game, 2 quick outs. They haven't had the best night offensively. Their runs have come when they were able to string together hits. Most notable one it's Nate Houghton, Henley, and Brady Powell have been the most active with the bats and just getting on base. You just have to string those together. We have an assortment of walks and hits throughout the lineup, but it doesn't mean anything if you get single 2 outs and then the 3rd out. The next batter, they just need to string some stuff together, and I think they're doing well defensively, as you mentioned. I mean, at least 2 of the 4 runs scored by the big train were on a call made by the umpires, and the last one we saw there, of course, Skoronsky had a nice triple but came in on a wild pitch, so they just need to avoid those silly mistakes on defense and string some hits together on offense, and I think they can do more than take the lead back this game.
Now 2-1, the count to Bryce Rudisill. Talked about how it was 2 quick outs, and now Rudisill trying to lengthen the at-bats a little bit here. 2-1 from Beasley. Tipped into the glove of Murphy. That evens the count at 2-2. Rudisill 1 for 2. That is a single, and then grounded into a fielder's choice that ended the bottom of the second inning. 2-2 pitch. Left that one alone upstairs. Now a full count early into this inning.
Rudisill leads the Giants with 3 home runs. That last one coming against the big train. It was the first run in the matchup at Shirley Povich.
Be big here to tie this game, but full count pitch. Able to fight it off and stay alive. That one was a bit upstairs, but important thing is that Rudisill was able to get a piece of it and can see another pitch.
Yeah, Rudisill was either mad at himself for swinging at it or not getting the contact he wanted. Either way, was not happy with the outcome.
Full count remains from James Beasley. Leaves that one low and inside, and it's ball 4. Rudisill's aboard with a leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Andrew Hollop.
Yeah, first walk of Beasley's outing. It's his 3rd on the season.
Yeah, you mentioned when Beasley first stepped on the mound, he hasn't really seen much action at all. Just 1 outing in 2 innings pitched there. Obviously, he got through his first inning of work, giving up 1 run. That'll bring up Andrew Hollop, who watches strike 1. That pitch in almost the same spot as what was ball 4 on Rudisill, but going from lefty to righty now may have changed the zone a little bit. 0-1, step off, and a throw over. Really not much of a throw, and you can hear some chirps from Gaithersburg's dugout.
A very lackadaisical throw. I don't even know the purpose of stepping off if that's the attempt you're going to make.
0-1, fouled off by Hollop. Now he is down 0-2.
And one thing I will say about Rudisill, one of the bigger guys on this team, but he gets a very aggressive secondary lead, and it's allowed him to be effective on the base pass. Recently, he was able to steal home on a wild pitch where we again saw one of his aggressive secondary leads. You just saw it there.
Former Pitt Panther, now at Mount St. Mary's, stands on first base. 0-2. Rudisill dances around. Pitch delivered. Outside. Now 1-2. Dylan Murphy giving some nods behind the plate. Liked where that pitch ended up.
It's tough to get Hollop to chase a guy who does not strike out a lot.
Yeah, he only has a handful of strikeouts. Trying to avoid one here. 1-2. Able to lay off of it. That one skips over Murphy, and Rudisill now in scoring position, and a 2-2 count for Andrew Hollop. So, I mean, we mentioned the control issues of Lehman. Beasley didn't really have that last inning. Did give up a walk to Nate Houghton-Henley, but they weren't really far misses like that. And then it was a wild pitch / pass ball that scored Henley in the end, but now 2-2. Misses outside. Full count again.
And now Rudisill even in a more dangerous position against James Beasley. Beasley now has to look back and has a visual on Rudisill and his skips. He just hit the gritty on the base path.
That one misses outside, and it does give up another walk. Is James Beasley as Andrew Hollop's aboard. And it is summer ball. You're encouraged to have fun. As I think I did see Rudisill last night when he was on third base at DC, hit a little bit of a gritty and does so again there to the laughs and encouragement of his dugout. But now 2 base runners on for Ryan Maxey. It's been back-to-back walks for Gaithersburg. Rudisill gritties again, and pitches delivered in the zone. Now 0-1 to Maxey.
Rudisill is just doing what he likes at second base. I mean, surely got to be in the head in some way if you're James Beasley.
0-1. Swing and a miss. Now Maxey's down 0-2.
I mean, you saw in that last one, Beasley didn't even look back at second base. I mean, I can only assume that's to avoid the fanatics of Rudisill.
Yeah, and with a lefty on in Maxey, it's going to be tough for Rudisill to steal third at the moment. No attention. Now some attention from Beasley. And a step off. That's one disengagement there. So you mentioned the lackadaisical throw earlier. That nulled the disengagement in Hollub's at-bat. But now Beasley can't do that again. He's going to have to throw over, and it would have to be a competitive throw over at that. 0-2. Misses upstairs. 1-2. Rudisill had a pretty good read on that one. Thought it may have gone over the glove of Murphy, which is why he went so far in the base paths, but able to scurry back in time.
Rudisill, he's got about 5 or 6 steals on the season, so he is not just outright stealing bases, but he's always ready to advance.
Now 1-2. Rudisill sprints again. Pitch delivered. Fouled off by Maxey. It's been really kind of a long at-bat for Maxey. It feels like, just because of all the shenanigans that have been going on. Able to stay alive. Count remains 1-2.
Maxey, a guy who's also been fighting a lot recently. He's come up at some crucial moments for the big train, has prevailed in most of them.
1-2. He wisely leaves that one alone outside. Now 2-2 to Ryan Maxey, the rising sophomore at St. John's River State College. Probably one of the longer names that I have to say throughout the course of the season. 2-2. Grounded over and just foul. Almost went over the first base bag. I looked foul to me up here. Obviously, the Giants dugout has a much different angle than I do. And they don't exactly agree with that call, but it is a foul ball. May have scored Rudisill had that one stayed fair, but now 2-2 to Maxey after that foul ball. Popped up and out of play again. Another foul ball for Maxey.
Yeah, this is a long at-bat for multiple reasons. First, the antics. Now Maxey's fighting for his life.
And if anything, you're just making James Beasley work more and more.
I mean, the count isn't even full for Maxey yet, so still some ways to go.
2-2. Fouled off again by Maxey. Fourth foul ball in this at-bat as Maxey continues to stay alive, and I believe all 4 foul balls with 2 strikes as well.
Yeah, and kudos to Beasley for keep punching it in the zone. I mean, it's hard to throw this many strikes in a row.
Yeah, he's been finding the zone frequently in this at-bat. Does have a ball to work with. 2-2 count. Pitch from Beasley. Inside, and that hits Maxey. And that'll load the bases with nobody out.
And just a crucial at-bat there from Maxey. I mean, of course, you can't control being hit. He did honestly try to move out of the way a little bit, nicked him just barely, and instantly looked at the umpire to make sure he heard it, and gladly jogs down to first base.
Yeah, that was a really nice at-bat from Ryan Maxey. Obviously, didn't get awarded with a walk, but does reach base. Didn't get a hit, but still, again, reaches base. It was a very hard-working at-bat, as now a pitching change quickly for the big train. It is bases loaded, nobody out for Cade Hentz, and a new arm will be coming in for Bethesda, and we'll introduce it to him when we come back here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Possible blood in the water here in Gaithersburg. Bases loaded, nobody out. Big Train sending out a new arm. It's the rising sophomore from Eckerd College, Tyler Brashear.
Yeah, Brashear on the season. He's got a 5.68 ERA, 7 games, 1 start. He also has a save. He has 12 2/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, 11 walks. However, as you mentioned, David, he's coming into a very difficult situation. Bases loaded, no outs. James Beasley ended his day with 1 strikeout, 3 walks. Well, 2 walks and then a hit by pitch. Both those walks and hit by pitch. Standing on base now, it's Rudisill, Holub, and Maxey.
And it's 1-0 to Cade Hentz after the first pitch from Brashear missed. As you mentioned, Jake Rudisill on third, Holub on second, Maxey on first. 1-0. Fouled off by Hentz. Pretty good pitch to hit. 91 upper middle part of the zone. Just couldn't get his bat head on it. Was a little late, obviously, on 91. So trying to square it up here. Big opportunity for Hentz. He was robbed earlier in the game when the bases were loaded. Can he come through here? 1-1 pitch. Tails outside and away. 2-1.
Yeah, you talked about how he was robbed. Cade Hentz showing some life this game. It's life that we haven't seen as of recently. So he is getting closer and closer to his first hit.
Yeah, obviously he's in a really rough patch right now, trying to break out of it. 2-1. Watches strike 2 called on the outside part of the plate. So that evens the count at 2-2. Brashear has a long way to go with no outs, but could certainly start it off well here. 2-2. Called strike 3 on Cade Hentz, and Brashear comes into a jam and is able to get the first batter he sees down on strikes. Now 1 away.
Yeah, Cade Hentz not agreeing with that strike 3 call. Nevertheless, that will be the first out in the bottom of the 5th. Still a lot of work for Brashear to do.
Now he faces Zach White. That one tails outside at 92. It's now 1-0 to White. And every pitch just feels that much more valuable for either side to have in this battle between these two teams. 1-0. Swing and a miss there from White.
Brashear bringing back some of that seed we saw from Liam to start this game. Facing off against Zach White, as I mentioned earlier. Zach White on a 4-game hit streak. Still haven't seen a hit from him today.
Would certainly be nice if he puts one out in play here. 1-1. Misses low and outside. 2-1. Back-to-back batters now up 2-1. However, Hentz went down on strikes looking. Now we'll see what Zach White can do here. 2-1, 1 out. That one misses outside. Now 3-1. Nowhere to put White. White looking for base hit ball 4 here. Pivotal pitch. If it misses, it ties the game. 3-1, 1 out. Bases loaded. Pitch from Brashear. Called strike 2. Now a full count.
Got chants from both dugouts as they realize how big of a moment this is.
So full count, 1 out. As White and Brashear do battle. Misses way outside and it walks a run home. This game is tied back up. It's 4-4.
Yeah, it's not the flashiest way to tie up the game. The Giants will take it, especially when you're getting... I mean, that ball was way out of the zone. Zach White wasn't even thinking about taking a swing at it.
And now Aiden Marino will step up. We've seen him come through a lot recently. Gaithersburg hasn't gotten more than 1 run in any inning this game. First pitch, Marino pops up into the netting and foul. And Nate Henley catches it off the netting. So 0-1 to Marino, who's 0 for 2 Two groundouts to John Martinez at short, one of which that without the pitcher's mound there probably would have gotten into center field. 0-1. That one hits Marino square in the back, and the Giants have grabbed the lead again. 5 free passes, and now 2 runs plated for Gaithersburg.
That is the second time I've seen Marino just eat a hit by pitch. Of course, that one only coming at 78, not the fastest. Still going to probably leave a mark, hit him right in the meat of the back. But he's a trooper. He takes that one. He knows how important it is for his team.
Very important, and that'll bring up the top of the order. I mentioned the 5 free passes. It's now 3 walks and 2 hit by pitches that have plated 2 runs, and now Gaithersburg leads yet again. First pitch to Henley misses outside. It's now 1-0.
You know, the other brutal thing when you get Zach White and Aiden Marino both on base, you bring up Henley and Powell, who have just been on fire this game with bases loaded. Not the guys you want up if you're the big train.
Definitely not. 1-0. Swing and a miss there from Henley. As you mentioned, both Henley and Powell have reached base all 3 of their plate appearances. I have to say plate appearances because Henley has 2 walks, 2 runs, and an RBI single. And Powell has 1 walk and 2 singles. This one hit hard into right field, ranging back is Steele. He makes the grab. All runners are tagging. The throw into second. And they say out at second base. And they also say that Maxey does not score at home. So that wipes a run off the board as the tag at second it did beat the runner at home.
And the Giants outright disagreeing with home plate umpire, but Blues stands firm saying Maxey was not there in time, so just an unfortunate situation from the Giants. And of course they did gain the lead back, but didn't get all they wanted from that bases loaded, no out situation.
Yeah, they were able to plate 2, but almost was 3 after Marino was tagged at second, tagging up, and Maxey did not cross home plate before that tag was applied. We will step away. It's now 5-4 Gaithersburg as they gain back the lead. Leo Simpson out again, and now he has some help with him to keep this lead intact. We'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. It's now 5-4 Gaithersburg entering the top of the 6th inning after they respond to the Big Train's 1 run in the top of the 5th with 2 of their own to now reinstate a Gaithersburg lead. Jake, it could have been more. Obviously, a lot left on the board, and specifically a bang-bang play that didn't go the Giants' way to end that inning.
Yeah, what looked like was going to be a routine sac fly turned into a double play for the Big Train, and unfortunately, Maxey did not get home before Marino was tagged out at second base. So score remains 5-4. And, the Giants able to put up some runs in that last inning. But again, with bases loaded, no outs, you're always going to want more. But especially in a game you're down against a powerhouse like Big Train, you want all the runs you can get. That's not the first time we've had bases loaded this game where we haven't got the outcome you wanted.
It's now 0-2 to Matthew Wesley as Simpson has started work here. And strike 3 called. So Leo Simpson gave up a leadoff triple to Josh Skoronsky last inning and then punched out 3 big train in a row, and it's now 4 in a row with the punch out of Matthew Wesley.
Yeah, Simpson having I'll call it a McCade-esque start to this game. We saw Sean McCabe strike out 8 last night very early. I mean, I don't think we're going to look up the record for 8, but he had 4 strikeouts through 2 or 3 innings, and I was almost curious if the Cal Ripken collegiately did have a strikeout in a single game record, but still a stellar performance from him and a stellar performance so far from Simpson.
He's now missed twice on Parker Corbin after the strikeout looking of Wesley. His first backwards K for Simpson. The first 3 were all swinging. Now 2-0. Called strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. It's now 2-1 to Parker Corbin.
Yeah, Parker Corbin, the UMD sophomore, leads the big train in walks with 27 after his walk in his last at-bat.
And he leaves that one high and out. It's now 3-1, so he's well on his way to another walk to solidify his top position in that statistic. But Simpson trying to stop that from happening. 3-1 pitch. Called strike 2, and Corbin had tossed his bat all the way back to his dugout.
And I mean, all I'm going to say is thank God for Corbin that Colin Smith isn't here. Colin Smith, a big anti-fan of dropping your bat on a strike.
Yeah, I'm sure Colin would have been irate. Full count pitch, skips inside. And Parker Corbin is aboard via a walk. So after he was disgruntled with the previous decision, that one definitely skipped in for ball 4. So now the first walk issued by Leo Simpson in this outing brings up Dylan Murphy with 1 out and 1 on.
So yeah, Corbin gets back-to-back walks. Murphy is still looking for his first hit.
That one misses, able to get down into the glove of White. Corbin was reading that pitch intently as pretty much out of the hand. He knew that it wasn't going to be in the zone, but 1-0 to Dylan Murphy. This is outside, so Simpson having some control issues. It was 4 straight strikeouts for Simpson moments ago, but then Parker Corbin getting on base via a walk on a full count pitch. So now 2-0. Misses high. Now 3-0. This one is going to need to be in the zone to avoid back-to-back walks.
Yeah, see, hearing some grunts from Simpson, something I didn't hear during his strikeouts. Don't know if he's feeling some sort of pain or just trying to get his velocity up, but
Pickoff attempt thrown right at Rudisil. Was a really fast throwdown. No tag applied. Rudisil wanting to make sure that he handles that one appropriately, so no extra bases are given up. 3-0 finds the zone. So now 3-1 from Leo Simpson. Parker Corbin standing on first base. Swing and a miss from Murphy. And another full count. He let Parker Corbin get away. Will Simpson rein in Murphy here?
chance for his 5th strikeout in his short outing so far.
Here is the pitch, and it's fouled off by Murphy, so we'll have to wait. Murphy, that one gets away, but it's on a foul ball, so Parker Corbin cannot advance. That ball will be thrown back to the Giants' dugout. So now full count again, 1 out. Parker Corbin on first. Simpson looking for his 5th punch out. Payoff pitch misses just outside on Murphy. And it's back-to-back walks now to bring up the top of the order in Alex Peltier. with just one out.
Zach White now coming to talk to his pitcher, and an unfortunate at-bat there. Of course, you start down 3-0, fight your way back to a full count, and after a foul ball, you deliver pitch just outside. Still one out, and the double play is on. We saw a handful of double plays last night, some from each team. The Giants would love a double play here.
Yeah, I think that's got to be part of the message from Zach White to Simpson. You have a defense playing behind you that has been playing really well lately, and you could just be one pitch from the end of this inning. Alex Peltier steps in now. Parker Corbin on second, Dylan Murphy on first. This one grounded over to Rudisil. Nice short hop, throws to second, throw back to first. Not in time, Rudisil off the bag, so almost the 3-6-3 that we saw the other night in Bethesda. That time, however, just getting the out at second, but a really nice play from Rudisil to collect that short hop.
Yeah, it was a nice transfer from Cade Hentz. Unfortunately, the throw was a little off target, so it was a nice job by Rudisil to keep the ball in front of him. We saw the ball pass Rudisil once already, and you mentioned almost a exact copy of the 3-6-3 we saw at Shirley Povich.
That pitch finds the zone on Brennan Wright. So Dylan Murphy out at second on the fielder's choice. There's now two gone. Parker Corbin on third. 0-1. Popped up and out of play. Simpson now up 0-2 and can get out of this inning potentially with this next pitch. Peltier hasn't been too aggressive since he made his way to first base. Granted, hasn't had much time there, as it's been 2 pitches, 2 strikes now on Brennan Wright. 0-2. This one hit hard into left field. That gets down and it ties this game yet again. An RBI single from Brennan Wright. As these two teams go back and forth again, it's now 5-5.
And, I mean, that's a crucial one from Brennan Wright. If you're the big train, you down 0-2, you find a pitch you like, put it in the outfield to tie the ball game. There's a steal from Peltier. Was wondering if he was going to round second. However, Wright's hit wasn't too far in the outfield. Powell was there quickly, so Peltier remains on second.
Yeah, crucial 0-2 hit, and a really great hit from Brennan Wright at that. Skoronsky fouls this one off. Skoronsky had Simpson's number the last time these two battled. It was a leadoff triple just last inning. And then Skoronsky came around to score on a wild pitch. Now he is down 0-1 with Peltier on second, Wright on first. 0-1. Inside, dropped by White, but Peltier did not have a great read on that one and ends up staying at second base.
And even with a drop, you're going to have a good jump on Zach White, especially if you're going over to third. We have another visit between pitcher and catcher.
Yeah, there was some action in the Giants' bullpen a couple moments ago. I don't hear or see anything at the moment. So, actually, I do see a ball being tossed now. Shipping container blocks my view of our view of who is warming up, but we can see a ball get tossed back and forth after every pitch thrown. Obviously, manager TJ Brockway would love Simpson to get out of this inning. He has 2 outs. It's a 1-1 count to Skoronsky. Pitch from Simpson. Called strike 2 on the outside. Now 1-2 to Skoronsky.
Simpson has been in so many situations with 2 strikes, and unfortunately a couple of them this inning have not gone his way. Looking to finish out Skoronsky here for his 5th strikeout of the game.
Can he do it here? 1-2, 2 outs. Fouled off by Skoronsky. This happened last time. Fouled off and then was unable to get the punch out was Simpson on Dylan Murphy after he fouled it off. But 1-2, 2 outs remains on Josh Skoronsky. This one hit hard to Aiden Marino at second. Bobbles going to pick it up. No throw, and he'll throw it back to his pitcher who cuts that one off as Peltier was looking eagerly at home plate. So they score that one, an error on Aiden Marino.
Now batting for the victory, number 45, Emilio Gonzalez.
And unfortunately, that's the second time we've seen an error from Marino that could have ended the inning. This time, no runs are scored on the play. However, Simpson going to have to try once again to end the top of the sixth, this time with bases loaded.
And that brings up Emilio Gonzalez, not the guy you want to see up in the Bethesda lineup with the bases loaded. That one gets over the head of White. Throw it home. The tag, not in time. Bethesda gets the lead back. Now 6-5, and both runners advance up.
And again, there is a self-inflicted wound, something we couldn't stop talking about at the start of this season for the Giants. Unfortunately, we see at this point, I'd call it uncharacteristic, especially in the last month. But, I mean, 3 of the Giants, of the big train, 6 runs are easily avoidable. And it's just unfortunate to see.
Yeah, now crucially, the only force out at first base. Second pitch to Gonzalez, swings and misses there. It's now 1-1. First pitch missed way upstairs, which allowed Peltier to score. So a 1-1 count to Gonzalez with Wright on third and Skoronsky on second. Check swing. And the umpire at second base says he did not go. And it's now 2-1 to Gonzalez.
And that's an interesting appeal. I don't even know how the second base umpire would see it better than the home plate umpire.
So now 2-1, swing and a miss. So now 2-2 to Gonzalez after that swing and miss.
Gonzalez was the first of the 4 strikeouts in Simpson's outing, trying to go back-to-back against the biggest hitter on this big train lineup.
1-2, 2 outs again from Simpson. Hit hard into right field. That's going to get over the head of Orr. Hits off the fence. 2 runs scored for Bethesda. The throw into second gets away. A 2 RBI double gives the lead to the Bethesda Big Train. Now up 3, 8-5.
And again, just a hit given up with 2 strikes. A very unfortunate inning if you're Leo Simpson. We have a mound meeting and what I can only assume will be the end of Simpson's night, and it is.
Yeah, Emilio Gonzalez was the last big train that you wanted to see at the plate in that situation, and he makes the Giants pay. It was a lot of forced errors and things that did not go the Giants' way in that inning, and now 4 runs on the board for the big train here in the top of the 6th. That's given them an 8-5 lead.
And I believe...
I believe that's...
Foul down for the Giants, number 43, Britton Wildison.
It's Britton Wildison up on the mound, and he'll warm up, and we'll come back when Wildison's all warmed up here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. It's Britton Wildison on the mound for the Gaithersburg Giants, who find themselves down 3. It's the largest lead of this game between these two teams that have been going back and forth the last 3 innings, but now 4 in the top of the 6th by Bethesda has given them the 8-5 lead.
Yeah, Britton Wildison.
First pitch is cranked, tailing foul, and it does get out of play off the bat of John Martinez.
The last time we saw Wildison, it was against the Big Train only a couple of nights ago. He came in relief, only 1 1/3 innings pitched, and didn't even give up a strikeout. It was all plays made by the infield, but he got the job done. No runs scored against him. It's awarded a save for his efforts. Back at it again against the Big Train.
Yeah, a 4-out save against the Big Train on Tuesday night. Was really fired up when he came off the mound there. 1-1, misses outside. 2-1 now on Martinez. Wildison was one of 5 All-Stars for the Giants. The All-Star game did not happen because of the usual suspect rain from this season. This one chopped and foul down the first base line. Now 2-2.
I mean, we have that week way back about the midpoint in the season where there was no Cal Ripken Collegiate League team that played for at least a week, and along with that, more spotty delays across the league has been very unfortunate this season.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Swing and a miss there from Martinez, who's down on strikes. Wildison sees one batter, strikes him out, and gets the Giants out of the top of the 6th. It was a pretty brutal top of the 6th as Bethesda scored 4.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Again, it's self-inflicted. This inning could have very well ended with the Giants still up 5-4. However, the Big Train take advantage of the Giants' mistakes, and with that last strikeout, Wildison now 9 on the season, 15 and now 2/3 innings pitched, 5 walks. So he's going to look to close out this game, hopefully, if you are the Giants. However, they got some work to do with the bats.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done as it's the largest lead of this game. 3 runs in the deficit. The Gaithersburg Giants trying to respond. Due up first will be Brady Powell, followed by Danny Orr and Bryce Rudisil when we come back on the Giants Broadcast Network.
All right, you ready?
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Tyler Brashear back out on the mound for the Big Train. Brady Powell will be up first to respond in what's been a back-and-forth battle between these two teams.
Yeah, it has been back and forth. The Giants and the Big Train seemingly have responses for each other every inning. However, the Big Train have made it hard for the Giants entering the bottom of the 6th. Put up 4 runs last inning. And as you mentioned, David, before we left, this is the largest lead of any team this game.
Yeah, it's tough here. Never want to be in the largest deficit of the game as it always puts you down even further. Now 1-0 misses inside. 2-0 to Powell, who has reached base in his first 3 plate appearances via a walk and then 2 singles, and is now up quickly 2-0 on Tyler Brashear.
Brady Powell, another Giant with an on-base percentage over 400. He currently sits at 420 entering today, so a little higher as he has gone on base all 3 times.
Yeah, I could see it skyrocket here, up 3-0. Talk about how important the leadoff guy is to get on base, apply that pressure. 3-0 to Brashear. Called strike 1 as the glove of Murphy drops that one into the zone. Now 3-1 to Brady Powell, the rising junior at Radford. 3-1 pitch. Called strike 2, similar spot as the previous one. Now a full count quickly to Brady Powell, who's watched 5 pitches go by and has yet to swing the bat here.
Looking to stay perfect on the base paths.
Full count pitch. Chopped up and foul into the netting. Good hack from Powell and great location from Brashear as the 3 last pitches, I should say, have been in the same spot, but Powell catching up to that one in time. So now full count again. Strike 3 called outside for Brady Powell, and he is down on strikes to start this inning.
Now batting for the Giants.
Brashear's second strikeout of the game. I was wondering what that 4th pitch was going to be after the 2 strikes and the foul ball. He went with the fastball still, however, it was a little lower and outside. Brady Powell doesn't stay perfect on the base pass, and this brings up Danny Orr.
Or fouls off the first pitch. Powell was seemingly a couple inches away from reaching base for a 4th time tonight. But Danny Orr, who has yet to has reached base once via fielder's choice, is up at bat. He hits this one into straightaway center. Took a while to get there, but he is aboard via a single as it slowly dribbled in between the middle infielders for the big train.
And, I mean, that could be a big hit from Danny Orr. You mentioned that is his first hit in a long time. We've mentioned his fielder's choice he had earlier in this game, but this is his first hit in a good bit, especially for a guy who has been so successful at the plate all season, so that could be just what he needs to get back on track.
Yeah, it's now his 38th hit. He leads this Giants team in almost every single major category, but is currently tied in the home run statistic with the guy at the plate, Bryce Rudisil. Rudisil grounds this one over to Martinez at short, steps on second, throws to first to complete the double play. 6-3, the Giants go down, and we will head to the 7th inning. Gaithersburg unable to respond. Pretty much the first time tonight that either team has been unable to respond to a major push by another. It's 8-5, heading to the 7th inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Yep. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Jake Tseronis. As we go to the final 3 frames of regulation, Gaithersburg down 3. And Britton Wildison back out on the mound. He was able to get the 3rd and final out, that crucial 3rd and final out of the top of the 6th, but not before Bethesda plated 4 runs. First pitch to Peyton Steele, misses outside and low, 4-1.
Peyton Steele, he's 1 for 3 on the day, has a single. He lined out, struck out swinging in his last at bat.
Pops this one up sharply over the net, and sounds like it hit the trees behind our little treehouse here at Criswell Automotive Field. Now 1-1, and if you don't know what I mean when I refer to the treehouse, we'd love for you to come out and see it for yourself as the Giants' home schedule winds down. They have just one game left here in Gaithersburg. That is Sunday against the Metro South County Braves. 2-1 finds the zone 2-2. Tomorrow be in Olney. And then on Monday, a doubleheader against the Aces in Alexandria. Gaithersburg will be the home team for one of those two games. 2-2 misses high and inside. Peyton Steele having to do a little bit of a limbo to get out of the way there, but now full count. Full count pitch. This one lofted into shallow left. Powell getting under it, and he makes the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, it was a very similar spot where we saw Cade Hentz come out and almost steal a catch from Brady Palestine. Powell beats him to it. And with that last home game, David, I also believe there is a intern home run derby that I am absolutely devastated I cannot be here for. I'm honestly heartbroken about it, but it will be a very fun game. We hope to see all of you there.
Yeah, we should have done it earlier in the season. This one is chopped foul by Wesley. If you don't know, every year the interns for the Giants have a small batting practice competition where the objective is to get it into the outfield in the air. And now it's 0-2 to Wesley, but it's a lot more difficult when I haven't swung a bat in over a year now. So we'll see how that goes. 0-2. This one popped up. Hence in shallow left, calls for it and makes the grab. So 2 high pop-ups to start this inning for Wildison, and now Parker Corbin steps up.
A much simpler inning for the Giants it's been. I mean, I feel like for the past at least 3 innings, there's been a guy on second, there's been a mistake, runners advance, there's so much going on. It's been very simple. Kudos to Wildison.
Now first pitch to Corbin, misses outside. Yeah, I really hope that this inning can act as some type of calming tool for Gaithersburg to get back in the groove they were in seemingly through the first 3 innings. They were up 2-0 after the 3rd inning, and then it was 3 runs in the top of the 4th that gave Big Train the 3-2 lead. Giants would respond, make it 3-3, and then the 2 would just go back and forth. But 4 last inning. This one lined over the head of Cade Hentz by Corbin, who's aboard with a single. Parker Corbin, after 2 walks, now has a hit. He's 1 for 2 now in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that one was ripped off the bat at 95. It was so fast that it one-hopped all the way to Nate Henley, who's way out there in center field.
Yeah, Henley fielded that one on a knee to just, again, calm the play down. That brings up Dylan Murphy. Murphy half swing, grounds it to Wildison, and he flips it to his first baseman. And that will end the top of the 7th, and we'll stretch here from Gaithersburg. The Giants need to find a response to the Bethesda Big Train in short order, as we are running out of time here from Criswell Automotive Field. We'll step away on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Ready?
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. New face on the mound for Bethesda yet again, their fourth pitcher. Rising junior from UNC Charlotte, it's Tanner Kaler.
Yeah, Tanner Kaler got an ERA of 4.72 on the season. He's got 8 games played, 2 starts. He has a save, 13 1/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, and 10 walks. We saw him in the Giants win over the Big Train a couple of days ago. He allowed 2 hits and 3 strikeouts and 8 batters. So one of the better pitchers the Giants saw in that game. Going to need a lot of action here. Luckily, we're in the heart of the lineup.
Yeah, heart of the lineup is right. Andrew Holub, 1-0, now 1-1 after that swing and miss. And a quick little check-in around the league. Crop Dusters in a doubleheader with the T-Bolts take the first game 11-2. Big news for the Giants. 1-1 to Holub. Fouled off into the netting. And then crucially, in the second game, the Crop Dusters now up 6-5 in the bottom of the 6th inning. As well, the Metro South County Braves fall to the Alexandria Aces 6-1. And then the DC Grays fall to the Southern Maryland Senators 8-1.
So we got some good news for the Giants. Still looking to carve out some good news in the time left in this game here at Criswell Automated Field.
Yeah, this is the 5th to last game for the Giants this regular season. So obviously you need to do your job in this scenario and do what you can to put yourself in a playoff position. 2-2. This one lofted into right field, but it hangs up just enough for Peyton Steele. And there is one away on the flyout of Andrew Holub.
Yeah, Holub's third pop out of the night. I honestly thought he did a good job on it. He saw it was off speed, and you saw him hold back like a second and a half longer. Just didn't get the absolute best contact, and of course placed right in the glove of Steele.
And now that'll bring up Ryan Maxey. Maxey hasn't continued his run-scoring streak yet this game. Almost did a couple innings ago, but on the sac fly, potential RBI sac fly, they said Aiden Marino was tagged out at second after he tagged up before Maxey crossed. He pops this one up into left field. Ranging over is Wesley, and he makes the grab. Now 2 gone.
Yeah, Wesley almost overran that ball. He kind of jumped up in the air and put his glove behind his head. Still came down with it, but an almost crucial mistake for the Bethesda Big Train.
So that retires Maxey. Kaler off to a blistering start in another relief outing against Gaithersburg here. Has gotten 2 soft flyouts. First pitch to Hentz is called strike 1. Hentz 0 for 3 in this game. He's now 1 for his last 25. After last night he had what we thought was a single Jake ruled an error. He pops this one up into right field, and under to make the grab again is Peyton Steele. 3 soft lineouts coaxed by Tanner Kaler. Quite the efficient inning.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You see some frustration from the Giants there after that hit. Cade Hentz throwing his bat on the ground and just heard a helmet thrown in the dugout. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to show frustration. It's just your response to it has to be positive. You have to come out here. You have to hold the Big Train to 8 runs. I think the rest of this game, if you want to think about the win, got to get the bats going somehow. Didn't get it done that inning. Still got 2 more opportunities left in this game.
Yeah, anything can happen. They have 2 more innings with the bats and 2 more innings in the field as Britton Wilderson steps back onto the mound, looking to be the calming factor for the Giants, trying to find their way back in this game. Down 3 as we'll go to the 8th inning here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Kind of a quick break, but we are right back. And with the top of the 8th inning, it's the top of the order for the Bethesda Big Train. Alex Peltier up first. Grounded into a fielder's choice, but then would come around to score in the ensuing play back in the 6th inning. He squares to bunt and gets this one down, but foul. And Peltier reached on an error to Maxey earlier in this game. That one bunted, obviously, in Maxey's direction down the third base line, but was foul. So Peltier knows that the grass, the infield grass that is, and the grass all the way around here slows the ball down quick. 0-1, called strike 2. Not sure if Peltier shakes his head at the call or shakes his head at the fact that he may have gone around. But I believe the pitch was just called strike 2 straight up. 0-2 for Britton Wildison. Peltier able to hold off that one as it missed into the lefty batter's box. It's now 1-2.
Seen so many hits with 2 strikes from this Big Train line at Wildison, looking to eliminate those.
Well, Peltier does make contact with that one, but yet again it goes foul into the netting. So 1-2 count remains for Alex Peltier. Peltier has had a pretty quiet night defensively in straightaway center field as he swings and misses there. Peltier down on strikes.
Yeah, Peltier holds off on that first low and away pitch. Wants the second one a little too much. Nice way to start the inning for Wildison.
Yeah, really nice job for Wildison not to let the leadoff man get away from him.
It's also the 28th strikeout for Peltier. He leads the Big Train in that statistic.
Strike 1 called on Brennan Wright. Wright was part of the menacing force back in that 4 spot of the top of the 6th with an RBI single when he had 2 strikes on him, and that just kept the line moving. Critically, him not giving up is what gave the Big Train the lead. 0-2. This one hit over the head of Marino into right field, scooped up by Orr. But it's another single for Brennan Wright.
Yeah, another single, another 2-strike hit for the Big Train as well. I mean, Britton Wildison was looking unstoppable up until that point. And again, I don't really think it's a knock against the Giants. The Big Train are just doing what they got to do with 2 strikes on them.
Yeah, certainly they're not letting themselves get down in the box, even though the count might not be in their favor. First pitch to Skoronsky misses outside. So Wildison, 2 strikeouts, 2 singles, but also a bounce back game for Brennan Wright. He started this game 0 for 3 with a ground out and 2 flyouts, but now an RBI single and then a single just moments ago. He's now 2 for 5, which is a lot better in the scorebook. 1-0 to Skoronsky. This is outside. Now 3-0. Second pitch missed as well. So Wildison trying to calm himself down now. 3-0. Finds the zone. You always think about maybe the green light for a guy like Skoronsky on the 3-0 pitch. We've seen him punish baseballs today. And he swings and misses there at a pitch that was low and away. Now the count will go full.
Yeah, must have the green light on 3-1. I'm sure a lot of guys do, but that one was way down and out.
So now a payoff pitch here for Wildison. Wright takes off, swing and a miss. Throw down is high, but Hentz catches that like an NFL receiver. Brings it down to keep it in the infield, so Brennan Wright gets a steal, but Wildison gets his 3rd punch out.
Yeah, that ball just gets away from Zach White. I talked about how well he does at keeping the ball low. That one I can only, again, blame it on just the wetness of the field here at Criswell Automotive Field. Got away from him a little bit, so Peltier on second.
That was a really great jump there. And now brings up Emilio Gonzalez, who grounds this one over to Aiden Marino. Nice routine play, and throws over to first in time. So the single doesn't do any damage as Brennan Wright's stranded on second. And now Gaithersburg down to their final 6 outs, trailing 3. Jake, there's certainly been a huge momentum shift in this game, and Gaithersburg was controlling the early going. How does it change, and when can it start?
I mean, it starts right now. The Giants have to come in the dugout and hit the reset button. Nothing that's happened up until this point matters. You got to throw it all away. It's a new ball game. I mean, right now you're just looking for 3 runs, and after you tie this game, you're looking to take the lead. It's step by step. Of course, you don't have as much time to chip away as the Giants would like. It's something they've done well this season. They need to have a nice inning here. You don't want all the work in the bottom of the ninth. I think 2 runs would be great. Of course, a tie ball game would be fantastic. You cannot leave this inning scoreless.
They certainly can't. And we talked about, you mentioned leaving that work for the final inning. They did that a couple weeks ago in Bethesda. We saw that. It was a 9-2 ball game, and then they scored 5 in the top of the 9th to make it 9-7, but just too big of a mountain to climb there. So we're not going to step away as there's only a few pitches left for Tanner Kaler here to warm up with. But certainly for the Giants, they'll need to just find good at-bats and find them in a hurry. It was 3 soft flyouts last inning all in a row, so they went 3 up, 3 down. So Zach White, who is 0 for 1 in this game with 2 walks, will be up first to face Tanner Kaler in his 2nd inning of this appearance.
I mean, I think the Giants looking for lightning to strike twice. Last night in the end of the game, it was Zach White who got that inning started when the Giants scored 3 to take the lead. He had a leadoff double. Aiden Marino followed up with a single, which allowed the top of your lineup to get up, and Brady Powell hit both those guys in with a 2 RBI single. So just funny how we have the same order of guys coming up.
Yeah, really similar lineup for manager TJ Brockway here. First pitch from Kaler to White is way outside, and it's 1-0. As I mentioned, White with 2 walks in this game and a run scored. Faces a 1-0 here. Fouls this one up into the netting. So 85, kind of middle inside on Zach White, was getting under it and late on it. But a really good pitch to hit if he can see that one out of the hand of Kaler. 1-1. Popped up, this one tailing out of play, and it does get there.
So White definitely on Taylor, but now 2 strikes. You can't afford to miss. A crucial leadoff runner for the Giants. A must reach first base.
Yeah, you need to apply that pressure immediately on Kaler. 1-2 from Tanner Kaler. Spiked into the dirt, now 2-2. White needs to find his way on the base paths as the Giants try and chip away. 2-2 pitch to White. Leaves that one alone as it skips into the glove of Murphy. And now it's a full count. White working a lengthened at-bat here, which the Giants were unable to do on Kaler last inning. But now a full count pitch to Zach White. Strike 3 called, as that pitch had White completely frozen on the put-away, and it's a backwards K for Tanner Kaler.
Yeah, I don't know if Zach White was expecting something else or just almost lost it a little bit, but that was a faster pitch than we've seen from Kaler. That entire bat, that one coming in at 87, just sends Zach White back to the dugout looking.
That brings up Aiden Marino now. Marino started the hands. Say he did not go, and it's 1-0 to Marino. Marino was hit by a pitch his last time up, and then was tagged out at second on what would have been a sac fly from Nate Houghton-Henley. Marino watches that one. It's now 2-0 with some oohs and ahs from the Big Train dugout. They thought that one was in the zone. Now 2-0 pitch. Misses low, 3-0. This is the most trouble Kaler's had on the mound in this outing. First 4 batters, other than White, has seemingly been put down with ease, and even then the strike 3 on White had him completely frozen. 3-0. 4-pitch walk for Aiden Marino.
Yeah, definitely a needed one for the Giants. We talked about the success Marino has when he does get on base, looking to get in scoring position quickly.
Yeah, so it is a lefty of Tanner Kaler on the mound, looking straight at first base where Marino is. See how eager Marino is to take off. First pitch to Henley, swing and a miss. Nasty breaking ball there from Kaler. Had Henley go over the top of that one, and he's down 0-1.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of variety in speed between Kaler's fastball and off-speed pitches. Makes it that much harder to tell which is which.
Pickoff attempt, and they say Marino is out at first. And that is something that the Giants could not afford, a base running error as Marino is picked off at first base.
Yeah, Kaler just caught Marino in a skip and not enough time to get back, so 2 outs with no runners on for the Giants.
0-1 misses low, now 1-1, and I mentioned how the lefty of Kaler looking right at Marino could pick his poison in the primary lead sequence of Marino. Now 1-1. That one misses low. 2-1.
We have seen 2-out magic from the Giants this season with the top of the lineup up right now. You can't count them fully out.
It's going to have to start now. 2-1. This one hit hard into left center field. That's down for a base hit. Henley on his way to second. And he will stop there. A stand-up double for Nate Houghton-Henley. And you talked about the 2-out magic. And certainly another moment of what if. But Brady Powell can try and erase that by coming through here.
Yeah, I mean, another what if is Marino is still on first base. We don't know if he's possibly coming around to score, or of course he's at least getting to third base. Have to forget about that, though. Powell now trying to drive in Henley with the Giants' first run in 2 innings.
Yeah, first pitch to Powell, missed outside. Yeah, I mean, certainly a drought after they had scored in 4 of the first 5 innings. Now 1-0. Misses outside, 2-0. Henley having his way with leads on second base. Brendan Wright not giving him too much trouble from second base. See if he takes off here. Be interesting to see. 2-0. Called strike 1. The high outside corner of the zone on Powell.
That was a late call. Home plate umpire thought about it for an extra second.
So now 2-1 pitch. That one misses up by the chin of Powell. Leans back. And we'll reset here a 3-1 count for Nate Houghton-Henley standing on second. Brady Powell trying to get him in. 3-1 from Kaler. Misses outside, and Powell is aboard for the 4th time tonight, just like Nate Houghton-Henley. The two basically equaling each other this game in terms of performances, both with 2 base hits and 2 walks. However, Henley has the extra base hit as well as an RBI and 2 runs.
We have a mound meeting and wondering if it's going to be the end of Kaler's night. We saw James Beasley's night come to an end early, and I think this will be it for Tanner Kaler.
Yeah, we'll see if Sal Colangelo will grab that baseball or not. I mean, this is a really interesting decision. Kaler was seemingly flying through his first inning of work and then froze Zach White to begin this inning, but Kaler seemingly done now after that pitch and will step away as the new face warms up for Bethesda when we come back here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Back now.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. It's going to be a massive battle, pivotal battle, tying run at the plate. It'll be Danny Orr, but boy oh boy is he facing one of, if not the strongest relief pitchers in the league, James Gladden, the rising junior from the University of Maryland.
Yeah, David, I thought when we saw Aiden Stewart that he was the best arm in this bullpen. Now I'm having some questions because James Gladden has allowed 1 hit all season. He's allowed 2 earned runs. He had an opponent batting average at 0, opponent slugging at 0 just till July 7th against the Aces. His opponent batting average currently stands at .030. So, I mean, it's going to take another stellar performance from the Giants. I mentioned Owen Stewart. The Giants did get the best of him a couple nights ago, so we just need another great performance from the Giants bats. And I mentioned Danny Orr, a great guy to have up in this situation.
1-0, swing and a miss there from Orr. Gladden played with Danny Orr's brother Jacob Orr at Maryland, and then Gladden will also call Nate Houghton-Henley a teammate who currently stands on second base, trying not to let him score. Fouled off by Orr, who's down 1-2. Gladden trying to get Bethesda out of a jam.
I tell you, there was a lot of movement on that 83-mile-per-hour pitch.
Now it's 1-2, 2 outs from James Gladden to Danny Orr. Misses outside. Has some heat lightning strikes in the background there. Can assure you that there's no actual lightning in the area, or else we probably would have paused play for a little bit. But 2-2 now to Danny Orr from James Gladden. Leaves that one up. Great eye from Orr. Now a full count.
Biggest moment of the game coming up. Chance to load the bases or bring in a run or end the inning.
What will this be? Full count, 2 outs. skips away, and it's a walk as Gladden falls down to the dirt. He looks to be okay, but now the tying run is on base for Bryce Rudisill.
And Gladden just shaking his head. Obviously lost his footing on the release of that pitch, which I can only imagine was a big part of him throwing it in the dirt. This brings up another great guy to have up, Bryce Rudisill.
Been seeing the ball unlike anyone else lately. Can he come through here? Bases loaded. First pitch, pretty much middle, but did have some movement on it at 84. It's 0-1 to Rudisill.
Rudisill had the solo shot against Owen Stewart in these teams' last appearance.
0-1 swing and a miss from Rudisill. That one elevated at 83. And now Gladden can have his way with Rudisill. He's up 0-2. Trying to get out of this jam. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Rudisill leaves that one alone as it skips in. Now 1-2. One, two, 2 outs, bases loaded from James Gladden to Bryce Rudisill. Swing and a miss. Gladden able to get Bethesda out of the jam, and for the 3rd time tonight, Gaithersburg strands the bases loaded. And they're unable to chip away. Jake, that's another tough sight to see.
Yeah, so close yet so far for the Giants to get bases loaded on a guy like Gladden. You can't ever think you're in a good situation in another scoreless inning. So the Giants are going to need at least 3 runs before they get 3 outs in the bottom of the 9th. So we have a new face on the mound for the Giants.
It'll be number 40, Jacob Goldman, who's going to warm up while we step away. We're headed to the top of the 9th. Final regulation inning coming up here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back with you here from Criswell Automotive Field. Thank you. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Jake Tseronis. Top of the 9th inning, Jacob Goldman up on the mound for the Gaithersburg Giants, who have to play defense here in order to give themselves a chance in the bottom of the 9th. They stranded the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th for the 3rd time tonight.
Goldman, the sophomore out of Easton Florida State College. He's got a 9 ERA, 3 games played, no starts, 4 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Looking to keep the big train at 8 runs.
He'll face John Martinez first. Martinez early on that pitch and hits it foul. 84 in the upper middle part of the zone. Martinez down 0-1. Martinez 1 for 4 tonight. Has 2 consecutive strikeouts now after his single in the top of the 4th. In that top of the 4th, Big Train scored 3. 0-1. Missed low and outside, 1-1 to Martinez. One pitch from Goldman. Swing and a miss from Martinez. Now 1-2.
Seen a couple big swings and misses from big train batters at the end of this game. Can't tell if they're just going for the fences or what's up.
Certainly been off balance on a lot of their swings and misses. 1-2 here, and there's another swing and a miss as Jacob Goldman gets his first punch out in his first batter, and there's one away here in the top of the ninth.
David, I don't know if you know the Jackie Bradley Jr. clothesline, but I mean the logo is exactly how Martinez ended on that swing. Just two huge chops at it, and doesn't go his way. Goldman gets an early K.
Interesting reference there. I haven't thought about that one in a minute. This one popped up into shallow right field. Danny Orr tracking, and he makes the grab as there's some applause. My only indication that the out was made, as the foul poles here blocked my view of that catch, and sure, it was spectacular. Unfortunately, I didn't have the ability to watch it in its entirety. But now 2 outs, 1 pitch, 1 out on Peyton Steele. And now Brett Ott will pinch hit, much like he did a couple nights ago, but this time for Matthew Wesley.
Brett Ott, he came in for Josh Goronski, and the Giants last time at Shirley Povich Field. Brett Ott finished 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and ground out, so looking to do something better here.
Wonder if this is more of a defensive substitution now, as there's 2 outs. Wesley was in left field. We'll see if Ott takes over that position in the bottom of the ninth, but he hits this one into straightaway center, so if it was a defensive substitution, he doesn't want to quite head out to the field yet. That's now the 11th hit for Bethesda here tonight.
Now this one, not a 2-strike hit, a 2-out hit, but Brett Ott saw the first pitch, he liked it, swung away, hopefully not the start of a big train 2-out rally, but makes it that much more difficult for Goldman.
And that'll bring up Parker Corbin now, who is 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Watches strike 1. Corbin has had a lot of interesting plays defensively that we've seen firsthand this season, but certainly has had a good night at the plate for someone batting under 200 coming into tonight. Has gotten on base 3 out of 4 times. Runner goes, throw down, the tag. They say safe at second base. And I believe it was strike 2. I heard the sound from the umpire, and it is an 0-2 count for Parker Corbin, but a stolen base for Brett Ott. Now 0-2, 2 outs. Goldman trying to get his team back to the bats. Pitch to Corbin. Swing and a miss. And Jacob Goldman gets 2 strikeouts here in the top of the ninth. Gaithersburg is going to have their work cut out for them. Down to their final 3 outs. Need 3 runs to keep this game alive. It'll be the closeout man, James Gladden, stepping back out on the mound. Does Gaithersburg have an answer for the rock-solid James Gladden? Or will Bethesda end the Giants' win streak at 7? We'll find out on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Now batting for the Giants, number 25, Andrew Holland.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Jake Tseronis. Andrew Holland up against James Gladden. As last inning, another opportunity went to waste. It's now 3 times the Giants have stranded the bases loaded, but now down to their final 3 outs. They need 3 runs, and they need to get to James Gladden.
And they need to be the first team to do so this season.
First pitch to Holland, misses low and outside. Yeah, I mean, his numbers are just phenomenal, and honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't pitched more for Bethesda, but obviously will be ready to go for the playoffs. 1-0. Misses outside 2-0. Big Train needing this win to stay ahead of the Aces for the number 1 overall seed. The Aces surging as well coming into tonight. 20-11, getting another win. This one chopped foul by Holland, now 2-1. So the Aces now 21-11. Big Train looking for their 24th win, currently sit at 23-8. Still a lot of baseball left to play this weekend. A lot of teams having double headers. 2-1. Misses upstairs 3-1.
And on the topic of outside teams, the only Crop Dusters came out 2-0 against the Thunderbolts in their doubleheader today.
Critical results for Gaithersburg in the playoff race. 3-1. Skips outside. A leadoff walk for Holland.
And
Now batting for the
that's,
Giants,
I'd probably say, the
number 13,
only
Ryan Maxey.
setback here. I mean, so Holland, you get a leadoff single. I mean, still a lot of work to do, but and especially in the part of the lineup you're coming up to, you're going to be a long way till you get to another power hitter after Holland. So going to need a lot of work from guys who have stepped up later in the season, including
Maxey is one of those guys. Sorry if I took the words right out of your mouth there, but 1-0 to Maxey.
Another thing forgot to mention Gladden, that is his 12th walk of the season. So he's not perfect. He does give up a fair amount of walks.
1-0 finds the zone on Maxey, 1-1. Yeah, but I mean, looking for a ball in play, preferably to keep this game going. 1-1. Finds the outside part of the plate, now 1-2.
Maxey needs to get on to extend his run streak.
1-2. Chops this one just foul. Gonzalez, who's holding on Holland at first base, was in a pretty good place to play that baseball if it was fair. So, luckily for Gaithersburg, it does go foul.
Something else I will mention is Maxey continued his run streak against the Big Train in the 9th inning a couple days ago, so don't count him out yet.
Trying to extend his streak, keep this game alive. 1-2. Misses outside. Big Train thought that one was surely in the zone, but 2-2 the count goes now. Freddie Diaz in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Cade Hentz. 2-2. Strike 3 called on Ryan Maxey, and that's out number 1. Giants down to their final 2 outs now.
Yeah, strikeout looking not what you need here in the bottom of the 9th, and now you bring in Freddie Diaz, a face that I personally have not seen in a long time, coming in to get some magic going for the Giants.
Yeah, just before the lineup started to get even more contentious, Diaz started to heat up a little bit, and obviously we want that to continue into this at-bat here. First pitch to Diaz, loops to the outside, and it's called strike 1. Oh, 1. Popped up and out of play off the bat of Diaz. Was able to get his barrel on it, but late on it. 83 below the belt. Nice pitch to hit for Diaz, but he is now down 0-2 to James Gladden.
Yeah, it's time to fight. You mentioned David Gladden is not going to walk in 3 runs here in the bottom of the 9th. Going to take a lot of hits.
0-2. Tipped foul by Diaz, so he's able to get enough of it to stay alive. Andrew Holub still on first base. We likely aren't going to see Holub try and take second base. Would take a pass ball for that to happen. 0-2. That one hits Diaz. And now 2 base runners on, and the tying run now at the plate in Zach White.
Yeah, that off-speed pitch just got away from Gladden, and Freddie turned his body but stayed in enough for it to hit him in a very crucial hit by pitch with 2 strikes. So a blunder from Gladden keeps some life in the Giants' dugout.
So tying run now at the plate as long as there's 2 base runners on. It's Zach White now to face James Gladden. First pitch outside on White. It's 1-0. White 0 for 2 has reached base twice via a walk. Scored back on his first walk in the bottom of the 2nd. 1-0 misses upstairs. 2-0. Murphy trying to drop the glove to get the strike 1 call. Unsuccessful there.
And with this, Zach White now the tying run up to bat.
Now 2-0. 3-0 now. So Gladden having a lot of issues. Aiden Marino waits in the on-deck circle. Freddie Diaz, although he has the speed, he's playing follow the leader behind Holub now. 3-0. Needed to find the zone, and it does. Now 3-1.
Yeah, Gladden knew he needed to find the zone. That pitch slower than we've seen for the most part tonight. Made sure it was in the strike zone.
Now 3-1. That one nearly hits White as well, but it's ball 4, and now the tying run is on base for Aiden Marino. And now a pinch runner will be Brady Ruiz-Weiss coming in for Zach White at third base.
And that's a no, Brady Ruiz-Weiss, along with Henley and Powell, one of the fastest guys on this Giants roster. Good to have him at first base. So we have a mound meeting. Now we've seen 2 pitchers get taken out early. If Gladden gets taken out, I wouldn't even know what to say about that.
Looks like this is just a pitching conference. If Gladden is taken out, it would be the 6th pitcher for Bethesda in a game that they're up 3, which is not something you see. Gladden remains in the game. Obviously has struggled this inning, giving up a walk, then a backward strikeout on Maxey, hit by pitch on Diaz, and then another walk to put Zach White on, who's now being pinch run for. Brady Ruiz-Weiss on first. Diaz on second. Andrew Holub on third. Aiden Marino at the plate. Marino's come through an awful lot lately. Needs to come through here. Lays off the first pitch. It misses outside. It's now 1-0.
Marino came up big the last time the Giants were at Shirley Povich Field, put Maxey in scoring position before he was drove in by Powell.
1-0. Dropping the glove. That time is Murphy, and that finds the zone. It's now 1-1. Murphy had a similar frame moments ago that was called a ball. 1-1. That one well into the zone. Now 1-2 to Marino. Giants down to their final 2 outs. Tying run on base. On first base, that is. It's Ruiz-Weiss. 1-2 to Marino. Swing and a miss. And that brings up Nate Houghton-Henley with Gaithersburg down to their final out.
Yeah, that's tough. If Marino was able to salvage a sack fly, it would have made the job that much easier for the Giants, but an unproductive out now eliminates the sacrifice fly. Now, of course, Henley is the winning run, so winning run in play, not the worst situation for the Giants. Still a lot of work to do.
Henley has had another monster night. First pitch to Henley. He watches it for strike one.
We have Terrapin v. Terrapin. Of course, Henley has not played for the Maryland Terps yet. Sure, they are aware of who each other are.
As Gladden throws ball one to Henley. Henley had a double just last inning. 1-1. Chops this one back to Gladden off his glove, bobbles it, flips it to first in time for the third and final out. And that ends this game. Gaithersburg, for the fourth time tonight, strands the bases loaded. It was a game that certainly could have had a very different result. You could go through almost every single inning and find a play that if you just flip it by one pitch, one step, it's a completely different game. So, 8-5 the final score. Giants win streak snapped after 7 as the Big Train get their revenge from the Tuesday night loss and take the season series as well.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate loss. The Giants gave a lot to the Big Train tonight, and and the fact that the Big Train were still only able to win by 3, if you were watching the whole game, there was multiple occurrences where the Giants could have taken the lead or made it much harder for the Big Train. Lots of errors on the Giants side, and you mentioned 3 times the bases were loaded, and I believe 1, maybe 2 runs scored out of all of those situations. Not what you want to see, but could be a waking moment for the Giants, get brought back to reality a little bit, because we have seen a lot of runners stranded even in these recent wins. So, of course, not the result you want. However, with a lot of help from the Crop Dusters, it's not the end of the world with a loss to Big Train tonight.
Yeah, they got the help from the Crop Dusters today, so they gain a half game by the T-Bolts losing a full game with 2 losses. So the Giants gain a half game on the T-Bolts for the playoff picture, but they'll go from friends to enemies tomorrow night. I will be in Olney as the Giants take on the Crop Dusters from First Responder Field. But here from Criswell Automotive Field, I'm David Lewis. He is Jake Tseronis, and we thank you all 50 to 60 of you that tuned in throughout the night. Final score, Bethesda 8, Gaithersburg 5. And thank you so much for tuning in all season long on the Giants Broadcast Network.